school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
A highly anticipated matchup, certainly one that has been circled on the calendar for both of these teams here this evening. Tonight's game between the 1A number 3 and the 2A number 6, between the Covenant Christian Warriors and the Heritage Christian Eagles. Tonight's game brought to you by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Also by Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. IEPUI Sports Management, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 solution. And by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Nothing runs like a deer. Inside of Zionsville West Middle School here on the northwest side of Indianapolis. Tonight's contest, the home field of the Covenant Christian Warriors as they play host to the third-ranked Heritage Christian Eagles. Once again, alongside Sean Kroll, I am Kurt Darling. Sean, good to be here with you this evening for what is set to be a pretty slobber-knocking matchup that we will have here tonight.
I am looking very much forward to this game tonight. Last year, Covenant Christian took care of business, defeated Heritage Christian 36-21 at Heritage Christian. Can Heritage Christian return the favor this year on Covenant Christian's home turf? Both come in winning at least 4 games in a row. Covenant lost their first game of the year, have not lost since. Heritage has not lost at all. This is going to be a very good matchup tonight.
And you talk about that loss to Speedway there, Sean. The fact of the matter is Speedway has been a huge surprise this year in Class 2A. And so now they only played them very, very close. That one was just a 26-21 loss in their regard. And so now you have them winning the next 4 games in a row, and pretty handily as well. The closest opponent, believe it or not, Traders Point Christian, back on August 27th.
At that game, it was very interesting. Covenant had their moments where they could have pulled away, but they didn't. Traders Point showed some spunk and stuck with them. But these are both very talented teams. Obviously, Covenant, the returning 1A state champion. They lost a lot of talent from that team, but still have a ton of talent, as we'll see when we go through their squad. Heritage Christian, Kyle Ray just keeps reloading. He's got a new quarterback this year, but he still has some guys returning that can really do some damage offensively. It's going to be interesting to see which team can stop the other. Both average a lot of points per game. Heritage averages just over 31. Covenant averages just under 40 per game. So where is this game? Is it going to be a defensive battle? Is it going to be a shootout? It's going to be fun to find out.
This is a Heritage Christian squad that they are facing tonight that went 8-3 under head coach Kyle Ray a year ago. One of those 3 losses was, in fact, to Covenant Christian. The final score in that one, 36-21. That was back on September 25th, almost a year to the day for that game here for tonight. Bottom line is this, though. This is a Heritage Christian squad that had eyes on a state championship a year ago, but they had to get through the eventual state champions in Western Boone.
They did. Western Boone repeating, just a fantastic job up there in Boone County. And, I think Heritage Christian comes in with a lot of confidence today because they defeated last week one of the teams that really has always given them a little bit of trouble in Cecina. Took care of business there 20-14, while Heritage Christian beat Tinley 42-19. But I think that Cecina win was huge for Heritage because they've always kind of been, like we said, a thorn in their side. So I think both these teams are going to get after it tonight, and we're going to see some good football.
Indeed we will. You have head coach Kyle Ray of the Heritage Christian Eagles, again, as we've talked about now in his 6th year as the head coach of the Eagles. He is 40-19, certainly an excellent start to his coaching career here at Heritage Christian. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Eric Cottle in his first year as the head coach, but he's actually been a part of this football program for the last 7 years as an offensive coordinator or as an offensive coach in any which regard. Bottom line is this: you have two very experienced coaches, yet two experienced and young coaches going at each other.
Yeah, I think the difference for Evan Cottle at Covenant Christian is the fact that he's the main guy. He's been in the program, but everybody kind of looks at you when decisions are being made. Kyle Ray's been there. He's done that. We know what he's been able to do. And let's not forget, this is a conference game. Both these teams in the Circle City Conference, kind of a little bit of a rivalry going on there as well. It's also one of those things where they don't want to look past these opponents too. Lapel next week for Heritage Christian in Clarksville, a 2A school for Covenant Christian, but I think they got their sights set. I mean, in the SRN polls, Heritage Christian is 2 in 2A, and Covenant Christian is 4. Both highly ranked teams, no matter what poll you look at.
Of course, we'll take a look at the polls from IndianaSRN a little bit later on. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Back in a minute here on IndianaSRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football powered by IndianaSRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at IndianaSRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the IndianaSRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown, safety, first down, holding or illegal use of hands, encroachment, or offsides commonly known, false start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, at www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
Back at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field of the Covenant Christian Warriors here on IndianaSRN, a highly anticipated matchup between both of these squads here as you see Heritage Christian coming to the field while we were away during the national anthem. And now let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of key players here tonight here. Sean Kroll, alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling. We'll start with taking a look at Heritage Christian. You have the 4-year starter now who has been tearing it up in the backfield all year long in Colton Brown.
This kid is something special. 4,800 yards for his career, 131 yards per game in his career, 57 touchdowns. This kid is special. When you watch him play, he can do it all. He can run between the tackles. He can get around the outside and get you with speed. He's got all the tools. This kid can play at the next level, whether it's D2, D3, or maybe even a walk on D1. He's special.
Last year it was Max Milton under the under center for Heritage Christian, but since he has graduated, he has now given those reins over to one Kyle Antoine, who is basically picking up right where Max Milton left off.
He did, and one of the things I noticed in research for the game tonight, a lot of rushing yards for Kyle Antoine. Not so much last year with Max Milton. He's another weapon they have that can throw defenses off when he can get that yardage in a little RPO action. It's going to be interesting to see how Covenant defends it.
A couple of other key players you'll see for Heritage Christian tonight, Zach Schlamer and also Ethan Orsted, along with Colin Thompson on defense. You'll be seeing them going at it as well. Now we take a look at the Covenant Christian squad as they are going to be headed up by Tony Flatt, the younger brother of Trey Flatt, who was the quarterback a year ago, and he has picked up right where his brother left off.
Tony Flatt's a fantastic athlete. Their dad, Scott, is the basketball coach. Does a great job running the offense. He is a field general, middle linebacker last year, so he's got the mentality to play the game. He's doing a great job for them, taking over for Austin Frazier, who won a state championship.
As you see, Covenant Christian wins the toss. They defer to the second half. And then finally, you're going to be seeing a lot of running tonight from the Covenant Christian running back in John Neighbors.
Yeah, Covenant averages 29 carries per game, team-wide. John Neighbors is their go-to. 704 yards, 13 touchdowns, 141 yards per game. Heritage is going to be king. The linebackers for Heritage Christian are going to be key to read Neighbors. That may open up some stuff on the outside for Antoine and their receivers.
He had a school record 5 touchdowns in one game just last week.
Considering the guys they had last year in the Michael Wilsons and those kind of guys and the numbers they put up offensively, that's surprising that is a school record, but impressive nonetheless.
And he has now had 300-yard games at least to his credit this season. You're also going to be seeing a lot of Will Lyons, but also Brock Buckley for Covenant Christian. And normally a high-octane basketball player for this Warriors squad. He's taken over the reins at wide receiver this year, and he had a very big game just a week ago against Tinley.
I'm going to call him Shark. He is Jeff Samardzija. He is a pitcher going to Xavier to play baseball, and he's playing wide receiver now. Kid can do it all. Great athlete. Had the itch, got to play football, and he is showing he is a tremendous athlete all around the board.
So you've got Heritage Christian and Covenant Christian about to take the field here tonight here at Zionsville West Middle School here on IndianaSRN. Once again, alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling. Both teams getting some last-minute preparations before we get going here this afternoon. Heritage Christian 5-0 and Covenant Christian 4-1. One team has the caliber of making a state championship as their goal here later this season. The other is a defending state champion looking to repeat here this evening. Sean Kroll, your keys to tonight's game for both teams to be successful.
Well, as always, and you could probably say this every week, line of scrimmage. Whichever team can control the line of scrimmage, because both teams like to run to set up the pass, is going to make a huge difference in this game. And you can extend that back even to the front seven, the linebackers, closing in those gaps to help stop the run game. Special teams are going to play a big role in this as well. And then finally, I think the turnover game. Who's going to get that big play to make that big turnover to turn the game?
We're underway here at Zionsville West Middle School as Luke Munoz puts his boot into it. And on the return there is going to be Zach Schlamer. It was Wade Wallen on the return, and so that will bring it back to about the 20-yard line, which is where we will get our first look now tonight at Kyle Antoine, Colton Brown, and many other offensive dynamos here for this Heritage Christian squad as you take a look at the projected lineups.
Ton of weapons. Zach Schlamer is the main target for Kyle Antoine, but make no mistake about it, this offense runs through Colton Brown, and Covenant definitely knows that.
And definitely a good look right there as you see Heritage Christian getting some last-minute words from their quarterback, and we are set to go here for the opening drive of tonight's contest.
Schlamer has 38 catches for 441 yards this year. He loves to hook up with Antoine.
Two backs in the backfield with Antoine, and they fake it, fumble on the opening snap, and Kyle Antoine is right there to fall on top of it. Kind of a little bit of miscommunication there as they looked like they were going to give it to Colton Brown, but Antoine may have decided better of it.
I think he decided late because you could see the rush from the left side of the defensive line from Covenant Christian come in. Antoine tried to pull it back. Colton thought he was getting it, and that caused the fumble. Luckily, they jumped on it, and we just talked about turnovers. Almost had one on the first play.
Of course, the offensive line tonight for Heritage Christian going to have their hands full with a talented pass rush from Ethan Sparks, Eli Carlson, as well as Weichert and Adeliken from Covenant. Here's Colton Brown's first carry of the night, and he plunges right up the sideline for a solid gain of about 7 yards.
Love how he took his time and waited for the hole to open, and then when it came, pow, he just zipped right through it.
And, of course, that's something that he shows a lot of, is patience, as we take a look now at the defensive lineups for Covenant Christian. But also, you're going to be seeing a lot of the secondary as well, who had 2 interceptions last week, with Carter Bell getting both of those interceptions.
And Gavin Tyndall has 5 on the year, so they like to ball hawk and snag it out of the air and take it the other way.
Third down and about 3. Give is to Brown. He tries to turn the corner, gets the first down, and has a lot of running room down the sideline. One man to beat, and a shoestring tackle there by Luke Munoz, but a big gain from Colton Brown, and that is pretty much business as usual for a player like him.
Great job by the right tackle, sealing off that edge and allowing Colton Brown to get around, and once he did, he turned on the afterburners. Now, granted, speed in the defensive back allowed him to get tackled, but that's exactly what you want if you are Heritage Christian. Big play like that, you're in the red zone, put something on the scoreboard first.
Ball sitting right at the 20-yard line.
I take that back. That was the H-back, actually, A.J. Neal with that seal-off block.
And then this time they have the designed run to Antoine. He gets first down yardage to get inside the 10. Had everybody fooled, including our own cameraman, Ken Thompson. He's doing an excellent job here capturing these pictures.
You see Neal with that block there, and there's Brown going through. This time they faked left with A.J. Neal, faked it to Colton Brown. Antoine had a great hole up the right side, got near the end zone as they've got first and goal, I believe.
All running plays so far here tonight. Antoine has yet to attempt a pass on this drive. In the gun, hands it off to Brown, and he punches it forward for a solid gain of about 4 yards to make it about second down and manageable as it is goal to go at the 5.
I think this is playing right into Kyle Ray's hands. We're running the football strong early to start with. You can kind of lull them to sleep, and then what comes next? Play action. And you got Schlamer and the guys on the edge. You can make some big plays from that.
Second down and goal to go. A.J. Neal in the backfield along with Antoine and Brown. This time it is Brown trying to get a block from Neal. Punches into the end zone. Flag on the play, though. But it is a touchdown on the field, but we will check the flag.
I think they might get Neal with the hold. There's double laundry there.
Even
on the
triple
field.
laundry, believe it or not. So what appears to be a holding call on A.J. Neal, as these broadcasters speculate. We'll see what the officials have to say here as they get things sorted out. And it is indeed a holding call on Heritage Christian. So what would have been a touchdown and is instead going to back up the Eagles about 10 yards, and it will be another second down situation.
Here's an instance where if they don't run, it would not surprise me to see them try and run Zach Schlamer on a little slant to the inside, right across the middle, stick it in the end zone. Because the fake to Colton Brown may draw the linebackers in and allow that space to open up for Zach Schlamer to do some work as he's out here on the right side.
So second down and goal, ball at the 19-yard line. Man in motion. First pass of the night. Antoine hits Schlamer, has some blocking, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but we have another late flag on the play.
Little bubble screen out there, got the blocking. I wonder if it's a hold again.
Again, to check the flag here are the officials as we wait on the call. And it looks like Heritage Christian is backing off here. And it's going to be a face mask on Covenant Christian. So that literally negates whatever the penalty was, and then you get half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul, and it'll be an automatic first down.
That's a huge penalty right there because, they had set Heritage Christian had set themselves back with the holding. They get all that yardage back, and then Covenant exacerbates it by getting that penalty, the personal foul face mask, not just a face mask, the personal foul face mask. And now they got first and goal from the 2, so I imagine you'll see Colton Brown right up the middle here.
Quick correction here. It's actually showing second down on the far pylon there from the down markers. Either way, it's a big penalty as it's half the distance to the goal, and it makes it much more manageable here for Heritage.
I believe on the personal foul, it should be first and goal.
It should be a first and goal. Design pitch to Antoine, and he gets into the end zone after 3 tries. They finally get it in. Touchdown, Heritage Christian. And the Eagles making quick work of their opening drive here, and that's certainly a good way to set the tone here for the Eagles.
Antoine said enough of this going with Colton Brown. I'm just going to grab it and go. Got the hole, got through the hole, stuck it in the end zone, and now we're up for the extra point.
And so it'll be Schlamer on the hold. Back to put the ball through the uprights will be Mateo Jace, who has had a solid season kicking the ball this year for Heritage Christian. Bobbled snap, but Jace is able to get that right through the uprights. 7-0 your score. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
First half brought to you by IUPUI Sports Management. Sports management careers are booming. When you're managing the business side of sports, you're always a major player in the game. Our graduates work in crucial and demanding positions at sports organizations and venues, managing arenas and stadiums as well. Give us a call or contact us at iupui.edu/sports management.
And check out our website for more sports action. IndianaSRN webcasts more than 300 games a year. Log in today at IndianaSRN.org.
Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling, and now we get a chance to see the offense of Covenant Christian here after the kickoff momentarily from Mateo Jace after a 6-play, 75-yard drive that was perfectly executed by that Heritage Christian offense.
Yeah, only one attempted pass, the bubble screen to Schlamer, but outside of that, running, which is what they like to do, that gives them chances to set up play action later in the game. Now let's see what Covenant can do, but
as Covenant's going to get a little bit of an advantage here as Jace is basically line drives that out of play, so the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. And you have a little bit of wiggle room here if you are the Warriors. As we take a look here at the offensive unit for the Warriors, we talked about John Neighbors, we talked about Tony Flatt, and we also gave a lot of love to Brock Buckley as well. But keep in mind, this is a very talented offensive line that is protecting Tony Flatt in the backfield.
Very experienced. They do a great job. Carlson and Sparks have been fantastic for them these last couple of years.
Flatt sends his man in motion, and the handoff is to John Neighbors, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage there by Jack Butler and Tim Jackson of the Heritage Christian front line.
Yeah, it looked like Colin Thompson came up and was part of that play too from the linebackers. Again, we discussed it. Linebackers shooting the gaps on the run plays are going to be key. Covenant's got to make sure and get Trey Raplogle is going to be a huge part for them tonight.
As we take a look at the Heritage Christian lineup right there, you also have Schlamer, who had that catch on the offensive drive. He plays defense as well. 2nd down and 10. Flat dumps it off now to Neighbors, tries to turn the corner but gets shoved out of play. And Heritage Christian's defense doing a good job of keeping everybody in front of them here in the first couple of plays.
Almost as if, the two linebackers set with Thompson and with Neal. Thompson was literally spying on Neighbors as he came out. Didn't really play the run. Went out and caught him. Very minimal gain. Thompson's really got his eye on Neighbors so far tonight. They play kind of a 2-5, the two linebackers in the nickel package all the time.
Alone in the backfield is Flat. He tries to pass, steps up in the pocket, gets rid of it, looking for his receiver. It has Trey Raplogle. 1st down for Covenant Christian, and Trey Raplogle making a big statement after having to sit out the game last week for disciplinary issues.
That's a huge play for them. Flat did a great job avoiding the pressure coming up the gut right there from the outside from Thompson, and just floats it up there, allows Raplogle to adjust on the ball. And CJ Opper couldn't make the play. Big 1st down.
A gain of about 25 yards and a 1st down now as the ball sits just outside the 45-yard line. Oh, and there is going to be a flag on the play. We'll see what it is here. It looks like it's going to be on Heritage Christian.
Yeah, it looks like Colin Jones jumped.
And it is an encroachment, so that will be an extra 5 yards for Covenant Christian.
I'm noticing, if you notice where Neighbors was on the left-hand side of Tony Flat, and Thompson is on that same side as the linebacker, so they're switching depending on which side of Flat, but now he's directly behind him, so we're going to see what's going to happen here in the pistol.
In plus territory now are the Warriors. Oh, and there is a false start on the end of the line there by Cole Thomas, and he's beating himself up for that one. So what was 5 yards will now be backed up another 5 yards as we go offsetting penalties, essentially.
We'll see a 5-yard penalty, and we'll race you one. Back and forth. But they're near midfield. They still got plenty of room to work with.
So back to where they were. It's now 1st down and 10 once again. Flat on the delayed handoff. Neighbors tries to hit a hole, but getting in there quickly, as you will expect from this defensive line here tonight. Carter Taylor coming in on that rush there. He gets the tackle.
A great job there by the linebackers.
Of course, you have Carter Taylor right now playing defensive end as Ethan Orsted is out of the lineup at the moment.
Yeah, again, A.J. Neal, number 9, is doing a great job as well.
2nd down and 9. Give is to Neighbors. Tries to find some running room and then is able to hit a hole for a solid gain of about 6 yards to get it back into plus territory.
Got around the end, but C.J. Opper came up from his defensive back position and made the tackle.
As we take a look at it here, once again, Neighbors trying to find his rhythm. And Heritage Christian, though, trying to establish that run defense that has been very surprising to Coach Kyle Ray this season.
Both these squads use the H-back liberally. Right there you saw Raplogle take out A.J. Neal and allowed Neighbors to get around the corner.
Flat, quick pass, tries to find Raplogle again. It goes through his hands, incomplete. 3rd down and 4 here as the clock ticks inside of 5 minutes left to go. It's 4th down now, actually, and we will see what Coach Cottle decides to do here. And it looks like they're going to bring the offense off of the field, and they may get ready to punt the ball away here.
That's interesting. Last game I saw them play against Traders Point, there at midfield, they would have went for it, but I think he understands field position's huge here.
Considering the opponent as well. So back to punt the ball away. Munoz puts his boot into it, and it's going to be fielded there by C.J. Opper. and he immediately gets swallowed up. Actually, that's Zach Schlamer on the return. Only a couple yards gained on that play, but still a very well-executed punt there by Luke Munoz. And now Heritage Christian's going to have a little more work to do on this drive compared to last drive.
Yeah, starting at their 17-yard line, they've got a long way to go. And, you know, we talked earlier about the polls. We look at the SRN polls. 1A, Lutheran number 1, Monroe Central 2, South Adams 3. Those squads are great. Covenant Christian comes in at 4, only that one loss. Park Heritage at 5.
Of course, Covenant and Lutheran playing in the same sectional this year, in sectional number 46. Antoine takes the low snap, and the pitch is to Brown, and he barrels over his running back counterpart on defense. That time was John Neighbors on the tackle.
I think John Neighbors, most people would say don't tackle a running back high, but with the way Colton Brown, you know, does a great job lifting his legs and with his knees, I'm not sure I'd want to go down towards his legs either, but it looks like there's a flag on the play.
As we await what the laundry is here, it's going to be a hold on Heritage Christian, it appears. So instead of a gain of about 6 or 7 yards, that'll back them up another 10 yards. 3 early penalties that have not exactly cost Heritage Christian, but have made things a little more difficult.
They have, and I think both coaches are going to have to understand these referees are calling it close, so you got to be sharp in what it is you're doing. Quick update. Traders Point leads Lapel 7-0 in the first. Tinley over Purdue Poly 7-0 in the first. Mooresville over Franklin 14-0 in the first.
So it's first down and long here. Antoine has to roll now to his right, finds Schlamer, and he is met there by Gavin Tyndall, but a big gain to at least get a lot of that penalty yardage back and maybe in some change.
Great route running there by Schlamer, got behind the DB, and man, if you get Schlamer behind you, you are going to get burnt, and the smell on that field is going to be toast. You got to get in front of him or Antoine's going to hit him all day long.
And he just caught the defensive backfield there looking, as, of course, we talked about Heritage Christian having a few early penalties here. Coach Kyle Ray has said that, you know, they have played a lot of good games, but no great games so far this year. Certainly looking for a great game here tonight, and especially from Colton Brown as he gets enough for a first down.
Great job there, seeing where the blocking was going. He wanted to kind of go to the left, saw the blocking kind of shifted that way, cut right. That's one thing that Colton Brown does fantastically, is his ability, and this is going to sound odd maybe, his ability to shift his hips and change direction at the drop of a hat and go in a different direction. There got him a first down.
And, of course, Colton Brown still actually nursing a hamstring injury that he's been trying to deal with since the offseason. He's just now starting to get back into pure form.
That's scary. If you're a Heritage Christian opponent, watch out.
Antoine calling for the ball, gives it to Brown, and again, just barreling right over the middle. And, you know, we just keep talking about Colton Brown, about how just seems every time he touches the ball, he just finds some way to keep moving forward regardless of what's in front of him.
He does, and if you're Covenant Christian, that first level of contact has to be the one that brings him down, because once he gets his yards after contact are huge. You got to get him and get him early.
And if he has enough rushing yards here tonight, Sean, he could eclipse 5,000 career rushing yards.
That's impressive in any stretch of the imagination in high school football.
Of course, the all-time leading rusher, Charlie Spiegel, who played at both Delta and New Pal, he rushed for 10,000 yards in 4 years.
That's pretty good, too.
Whistle on the play here before they could get the snap off, and we have a flag on the play. So you got a false start here against Heritage Christian. And as I said earlier, you know, Coach Ray said they played a lot of good games, but no great games. This might be what he's talking about.
Yeah, surprising. Heritage isn't a team that really makes a ton of mental mistakes like this. It's kind of surprising to see. Hasn't shot themselves in the foot yet, but you never know when that may happen. So you got to shore those up, especially before sectional. Sectional shows coming up soon. Can you believe it?
Absolutely. We're going to be having a lot of games here on IndianaSRN. As you can tell, both of these teams going to be among those. Colton Brown just plunges right up the middle for a quick gain of 10 yards.
if you give him any, and I literally mean this, if you give him any space in that offensive line, he's going to get through it, and he's going to get to the second and third level and maybe even the end zone. You've got to get him early, or else he's going to just eat you alive.
It's been nothing but the Colton Brown show here so far this first half for Heritage Christian, already over 100 yards rushing.
And this is where the linebacking core of Covenant's really got to come strong.
Back to pass, Antoine. Gets swarmed in the pocket, finds a way to get out of there and makes something out of nothing as he gets down to about the 35.
Nice tackle there on the play. But I love his sense. He sensed the defensive player coming out behind him and tuck the ball in because he didn't want to lose it after that first play. Smart play by Kyle Antoine.
And, of course, that's been something that's also been surprising from Coach Ray so far this year. Believe it or not, they weren't expecting Antoine to be rushing as much as he did, but because of the fact he was so elusive in that first game, they were thinking we might want to design some stuff for him, and it's paid dividends.
Another weapon is something else the other team has to account for.
On the keeper, and that time Antoine is met right at the line of scrimmage. In fact, maybe in the backfield by John Neighbors, and also getting in on that tackle was Nolan Jones.
Great read by Nolan Jones to Keon Antoine. Stopped him short, didn't let him get anything.
So it'll be second down and short here. Ball just at about the 35-yard line.
Great job by the offensive line so far of Heritage Christian, allowing the running offense to really take shape. That play didn't go so well. Great job by the linebacking core of Covenant, and they've got to really step their game up.
Call it the 33-yard line. Third down and 4. Brown up the gut, gets a first down, and is tackled in the defensive backfield again by John Neighbors, who is certainly getting his hands full right now. But every time he has his hands full, it's Colton Brown getting through the line for a good gain. First quarter comes to an end. Back in a moment on IndianaSRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Quarter number 2 here on IndianaSRN at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field for Covenant Christian, alongside Sean Kroll. I'm Kurt Darling. Sean, your thoughts of what we just experienced there in that first quarter?
It was a fast quarter. Why? Because a lot of running the football. That is something that Heritage Christian likes to do, and they've done a great job so far opening up holes for Antoine and Colton Brown. Covenant's really got to do a better job defensively in the front 7, really standing that offensive lineup and stopping the run.
Heritage working in plus territory here as Colton Brown tries to get a little bit of patience there and gets a little bit of yardage there, but nonetheless, Covenant Christian had that one pretty much covered.
They did, and that's a great job vision-wise, again, of Colton Brown. As he almost hit the hole in the middle, he saw it getting clogged up and kind of went out to the right. And the thing about Colton Brown is he almost always gets positive yards on every carry that he gets because of his vision and his shiftiness.
In fact, I don't think he's had a carry for yards lost at all in this contest so far.
It wouldn't surprise me if he barely had any for the season.
Second down and 7. Antoine on the delayed handoff to Brown, and he punches forward to get close to first down yardage. It looks like he will have enough for it, and they move the chains yet again. And no, they may be just a little bit short here.
I love the call of the fake jet sweep to Schleimer and then handing it off to Colton Brown. Another little bitty thing that they have to prepare for on Covenant's side.
So it's 3rd down and 1. Big down here for Covenant Christian.
Wonder who's going to get it.
Colton Brown, obviously, he gets right up the middle, powers forward, keeps his legs moving, and he's in for a Heritage Christian touchdown. First it was Antoine, now it's Colton Brown getting his 5th touchdown of the season.
He's getting great job right up the gut, right behind Colin Thompson, the center. Excuse me, he's the long snapper, but Al Bradford, the center, Stewart, the left guard, and Tim Jackson, the right guard. Those guys are clearing the way for him.
About an 11-yard scamper there by Colton Brown as Jace makes it 14-0. Heritage Christian on top by 2 scores over Covenant here in quarter number 2. We'll take a timeout. You're watching IndianaSRN.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Piper Logistics, a proud sponsor of this second quarter. In 2002, Piper Logistics was established with the encouragement and financial support of a spirited customer who helped Greg and Tim develop their vision. If you need something transported, contact Piper Logistics at 317-395-1023.
Hey, follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN and subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the replay of any game we webcast.
That's Sean Crow. I'm Kurt Darling. As we now see Tony Flatt field the kickoff and bring it back to just outside of the 20-yard line. And actually on that return was Gavin Tyndall. As we take a look here at this Colton Brown scamper from about 12 yards out.
Just right up the gut, had again just a sliver of light and zip, he's right through it. And again, he's hitting that second wave, and man, he just blown right through those defensive backs.
Of course, he's only averaging about a touchdown a game, believe it or not, this season, as he has been. He was held out in the opening win against Traders Point, and then has really picked up steam there, as has John Neighbors, who turns the corner, gets back to the middle of the field, and is brought down there by Schleimer. A flag on the play, and it's likely going to be a holding call here by Covenant Christian as the flag sits back near where the line of scrimmage was.
That is exactly the kind of play Covenant Christian needed, but now it's going to come back.
Certainly a demoralizing penalty right there as you finally get a decent offensive play off, but it's negated there by the holding call there, and so that will back them up 10 yards as opposed to giving them 30 yards. That would have been there on that John Neighbors carry.
You know, you look at the front line as we saw the lineups, you know, Reiffe is 6 feet 220, Carlson 6'3", 245, Sparks 6'4", 290, Cole Thomas 6'2", 230, and Justin Cooper 6'1", 160. They've got big guys. They got to start opening up some holes for John Neighbors.
Instead, they've dug themselves into a very deep hole here off of that holding penalty, so that puts them back inside of their own 10-yard line. Flatt dumps it off to Tyndall. He tries to shed a tackler. He does so, but gets stood up and pushed out of bounds by Thompson.
Quick out there and not much doing because great job by the Heritage Christian DBs. You want to try and, first and 18 deep, you want to try and maybe get a little bit of more chunk yardage there because now you're still second and very long.
In fact, hardly any gain right there. They may have given them a yard on the play. The ball now just touching the 10-yard line. Flat, back to pass again, has some time, looking for Buckley along the sideline, and it goes out of play. Still the right idea, but they have Buckley well covered.
And Buckley's got the size. He, again, like Jeff Samardzija, he can go up and get it. So if it was relatively close to be able to catch it and stay in bounds, I think that might have been a huge gain for Covenant Christian. Look for that later on in the game as well.
But we were talking off air here, Sean Kroll, is the fact that Covenant has to do something on this drive, and that holding penalty certainly did not help things.
Those are the ones that make you lose your hair as a coach, as we know. Look at Keith Myers. So,
no comment. Third down and long. Flat has to roll out of the pocket along the sideline, and it is caught. Oh, but knocked out. Flag on the play. They may get a hit on a defenseless receiver here on Heritage Christian, as Tyndall had the ball in the breadbasket, but we'll see what the penalty is here. They might get a targeting foul here.
That's one where Schlamer was coming off of his receiver because he saw the ball up for grabs, did not see the Covenant receiver, which I believe was what may have been Buckley or Tyndall.
It looked like it was Tyndall there as they were looking for it.
Just plowed over him, so that's going to give Covenant a first down.
And it's going to be pass interference. So they're going to get pass interference on Heritage Christian, so they avoid the personal foul call right there. Either way, it is 15 yards from the previous spot and an automatic first down. So what looked like to be a very bleak situation for Covenant, Heritage Christian throws them a bone.
And that's a great play, too, by Tony Flatt, because when you're rolling left and you're a right-handed quarterback, that's tough to shift your hips and body around to throw it that far downfield. He did a great job of it. Allowed his receiver to come back and drew the penalty.
So a fresh set of downs for Covenant Christian as the penalty keeps things alive. Jet sweep to Munoz. And he goes nowhere with that one.
I'm going to be honest with you, I still don't understand why that's called a pass, but it's a pass play.
It is a forward toss.
Here,
as
you take
expect.
it. You have it, and we'll go from there. But yeah, Gabe, Covenant got new life on that penalty. They need to take advantage of it.
Clock is moving, though, as it is still a 14-0 advantage for Heritage. Flat, delayed handoff to Neighbors, and he is wrapped up again in the backfield. Schlamer in on the disruption, but give that big tackle there to Camden Wolf coming in from the defensive back spot to make that call.
It looked almost like it was a blitz by the defensive backs, or a run blitz, if you will, and caught him off guard and stopped Neighbors. He initially looked like he had some room, and then bam, those DBs came in and shut him down.
And that's a turnover on downs right there.
Oh, was that fourth down?
It looks like it was, in fact, fourth down. So that is a turnover on downs, and Heritage Christian takes over on offense. And the jump here is to Colton Brown, and he powers forward for maybe a gain of 5 off to the right side.
That is a huge play. Very risky to go for it on fourth down there, that deep in your territory against this Heritage team down 14-0 already. Your defense has got to bow up and stop them or get a turnover.
Still, nonetheless, severely good field position here for Heritage Christian to try and make this very difficult for Covenant. Antoine wide open in the end zone. Zach Schlamer. Touchdown, Heritage Christian. A big pass there. 22 yards from Kyle Antoine to get his 12th touchdown pass of the season. And that now makes it very difficult for Covenant Christian rather.
Boy, they're going to look back at that fourth down play, and they're going to see that as a huge turning point in this game, because a 7-point, that's a huge turnaround right there, and Heritage scores in 2 plays.
Mateo Jace puts it through the uprights. It is a 21-0 advantage for Heritage Christian. We'll take a timeout here on Indiana SRN. The IHSAA Foundation is a proud supporter of tonight's broadcast. Catch up on what's going on with the IHSAA Foundation. Subscribe to our newsletter, The Advocate. Email us at ihsaafoundation.org. Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling. It is a 21-0 advantage here for Heritage Christian as they get a big touchdown off of the turnover from Covenant, as you see Jace put that one into the end zone for a touchback. And again, some difficult field position for Covenant to start this next drive.
Covenant's had the ball 3 times and they've scored 3 times. Give them a long field, they score. Give them a short field, they score. Covenant has some questions that they have to answer on defense immediately. You can't even really wait for the halftime break. But right now, you got to focus on trying to get some yardage and get a drive going. Give yourself some momentum. Give the fans something to get behind and get rocking.
Of course, that was a 22-yard pitch and a pass and catch from Kyle Antoine to Zach Schlamer to make it a 21-0 affair. Fake handoff to Neighbors, flat, looking downfield, has his receiver, a nice catch there by Tyndall, cuts back into the middle of the field, turns on the afterburners, shakes off a tackler, keeps going to the 20, the 10, the 5, and he's shoestring tackle there by Covenant Heritage Christian. Sam Graves saves a touchdown, but what a play by Gavin Tyndall to set up a big scoring opportunity for the Warriors.
Did we not just say they needed a big play? That right there. Great job by Flat here rolling out. I'm surprised he was close to the line of scrimmage, but the moves by Tyndall right here, whoop, gets through, splits both those defenders, and the juke he puts here on the end on Sam Graves, who still manages to make the tackle to give himself more yards, was a great move. He just ran out of gas.
That going from the 25-yard line. And now Neighbors tries to punch it into the end zone. Does he get there? Yes, he does. No, he does not. As they mark him down just shy of the end zone.
If they don't get it here, I would not be surprised to see a little corner toss up. Brock Buckley go up and get it.
So 2nd down and goal here. Covenant Christian with an opportunity to cut into this Heritage lead. Munoz in motion. Hand is to Neighbors. Tries to get into the end zone. He does so through the corner. Touchdown Warriors. Covenant Christian finally responding after Heritage Christian goes up big. And now it's a little more manageable if you're head coach Evan Cottle.
It makes you feel a little bit better, especially after that 4th down and turning it over in your own territory and allowing Heritage Christian to score. You responded. You know you can respond. I think that builds some confidence for them. I mean, again, in the SRN polls, Heritage Christian is 2 and 2A. Fort Wayne Lures number 1, Eastbrook 3, Tipton 4, Eastside 5. These are two top 5 teams in the SRN poll. They're good football teams.
And Munoz puts it through the uprights to make it 21-7. Heritage Christian still on top. You're watching Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Come back to us.
21-7 is the score here on Indiana SRN. Heritage Christian on top of Covenant Christian, 21-7.
You want to talk about the SRN polls? Number 1 in 3A across the board, Brebeuf Jesuit. Number 1 in 4A, Roncalli across the board. 0-0 second quarter. That is a slobber knocker for sure.
So you can definitely catch that game here on the Indiana SRN family of networks. But of course, we've got a good one here still as Heritage Christian gets the ball back. And on the return there for Heritage Christian was Christian Dora, who brings it back to about the 30-yard line.
That's another Circle City Conference matchup. This Circle City Conference, since it's been around since 2016, they have done a great job growing the conference and getting a lot of teams in that have done a lot of damage in all sports across the board.
Of course, you'll have some Circle City Conference teams in action next week for some boys soccer action. Of course, you have the Boys City Alliance in soccer coming up next Wednesday. That game will be right here on Indiana SRN. Antoine finds his receiver. Again, that's Dora, and he gets close to a first down.
Is he an explorer?
Dora the Explorer.
Oh, I couldn't help it, sorry. You know, I'm looking forward to next Saturday when we've got Heartland Conference football on Indiana SRN. Week 1 of the Heartland Conference game of the week. We are headed up to Bluffton as they are taking on Mount St. Joseph, 1:30 next week on Indiana SRN. Super excited about that.
Colton Brown is finally stopped at the line of scrimmage for the first time tonight. Eli Sparks, along with some help from Eli Carlson as well. Ethan Sparks, rather, along with Eli Carlson.
That's what they needed to do on the run there. Now it is a big play here. 3rd and 2. If they can get off the field and get their offense back on Covenant, this could be huge for this game.
Clock ticking now inside of 6 minutes to go here in this first half. And don't let the score fool you. It has certainly been an entertaining one, to say the least. Antoine, this time again to Brown, and he gets right to the first down marker, and it looks like they may have to measure it. It appears as if he has the first down.
That's a pretty good spot.
And they are going to go ahead and give it to them. So, a big first down right there for Heritage Christian to at least avoid having a situation where you might end up having to either go for it or punt it away.
They definitely want to run some of this clock. And hey, if you're interested, follow the Heartland Conference at HCHCD3. The 3 is 111 on Twitter. Keep up to date with all the scores and events.
Brown, right down the sideline. And another big scamper for him for about 15 yards.
Got around that corner. If you get the seal on the end for the offensive line or the H-back for Heritage Christian, he can get around that corner and do damage. And
so they move the chains. Clock stopped at about 4:55. as the offense has been nothing but Colton Brown tonight for Heritage Christian, with a few appearances from Kyle Antoine and Zach Schlamer.
Covenant's got to get a stop. Heritage has scored every time they had the football. They've got to show that they can stop them.
Antoine dumps it off to Schlamer, turns it upfield, goes along the sideline, flag on the play, and he gets pushed out of bounds there by Buckley, but we'll check the flag. It could be a face mask from what we could see, as you see a lot of dirty laundry on the field.
Yeah, his head kind of jerked back as he went by the Covenant player. Makes you wonder if it was a face mask. And that'll just tack on to the end of the play.
And from where the ball is out of bounds, it could be half the distance because they're inside the 20 as the officials converse just inside of the 15-yard line.
It just seems as Heritage is just doing whatever they want to do.
And it is a face mask on Covenant Christian. So that will be half the distance to the goal, as it is a 15-yard penalty, but they are inside the 20, so they will probably put that at about roughly the 12-yard line or so, depending on how they walk it off.
Kyle Ray must be licking his chops because everything he's tried on offense has worked tonight. It's the playbook's wide open. Hey, what do you want to do now? It's like a kid in a candy store.
Of course, this is a kid that's certainly lost a little bit of candy from a year ago. Of course, we talked about Max Milton, who was the prolific quarterback for Heritage Christian a year ago, but also Harrison Waltz, who was a dominant wide receiver for this Heritage squad. He is gone as well, but nonetheless, they haven't seemed to be missing them too much here. As you said, Heritage has been able to do all that they want to do on offense and some.
Harrison Waltz was just as good a linebacker as he was a wide receiver for them as well.
Inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. Antoine on the keeper. Keeps his legs moving before they blow it dead just inside the 5-yard line.
That's got to be so nice for Kyle Ray to have the quarterback in Antoine that hey, I can run the RPO here, and people are game planning for Colton Brown, but put it in his belly. No, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to use Kyle Antoine around the edge. Another thing they have to game plan for, the more weapons and more options you put out there, the more confusing it is for defenses.
And the Covenant Christian Warriors certainly in a precarious spot here, something that they're not used to being. This is the largest deficit that they have faced all season long, was 21-0 earlier on. As Brown goes to the right side, goes towards the pylon, looking for the signal, and touchdown Heritage Christian. Another touchdown for Colton Brown, his second of the night.
And third score of the second quarter for Heritage Christian.
About a 5-yard scamper there by Brown to get his second touchdown of the evening, his 6th on the season, as he is getting ever closer to that 5,000-yard rushing mark for a career.
Just an impressive, and you know what? He's a great young man as well. We know a lot of these kids from both of these schools. We broadcast a lot of their games, and these are such good, great kids, and you just love to see it when these kids do well.
So the score is 28-7, as the scoreboard will show here momentarily, as right now it is still a good ball game to say the least, but Heritage Christian is on top with less than 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Of course, be sure to check out the sports page here at IndianaSRN.org. Just go to Radio Troy at RadioTroy.com. Back in a minute on Indiana SRN. (28-7) is the score. Alongside Sean Kroll, I am Kurt Darling, and Heritage Christian has certainly been able to do all they can, and Covenant Christian has to find something to do. Not only they seem to know what they can do on offense, it's their defense that really has to step up now.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of discussions in the locker room at halftime about what they can do to stop this offense from Heritage Christian, and they are just clicking on, I know it's an old cliche, but they are clicking on all cylinders right now, and it's impressive to see. But Covenant, they've got to come out. They've got plenty of time to go down the field and cut this to a 14-point deficit. They just need to do it and then go in the locker room and regroup and figure out what to do. Of
course, with 3:35 left to go here in the first half, how risky do you get if you're head coach Evan Cottle?
That's a great point. But you look back at that long pass to Tyndall. The pass itself wasn't more but about 15, 20 yards. I think you still got plenty of time. All your timeouts left. You can use the middle of the field liberally and still get down the field and get you some points.
Tony Flatt alone in the backfield has Tyndall in motion. Flatt looking to his left side. Along the sideline has his receiver, and that is John Neighbors. Neighbors goes 85 yards. Touchdown, Covenant Christian.
I think that was a busted coverage. A linebacker missed the coverage because you cannot miss the running back coming out of the backfield and get that wide open. That's definitely a blown coverage, and that's exactly a play they needed.
We have to take a look at this play again. Just what a play as you see Tyndall go in motion.
80 yards.
An 80-yard touchdown play. John Neighbors wide open, and he takes it to the house, outrunning A.J. Neal there. And that is a huge play from John Neighbors.
Well, we said they had 3:35 to score. They only needed 15 seconds.
That is John Neighbors' first receiving touchdown of the season.
And maybe the easiest he's ever had in his life.
As Munoz puts that one up through the uprights, and it is still ever closer here at Heritage Christian and Covenant Christian at Zionsville West Middle School. Certainly glad you could join us here on IndianaSRN. Of course, we'll definitely take you to a couple of other games going on throughout the rest of the week, coming up next week, as we have a lot of games certainly to offer. You got, of course, as we talked about, Hoosier Heartland football coming up in just a little bit here on IndianaSRN next weekend, but also you have a lot of other games as well. You have girls soccer and boys soccer, North Putnam, South Putnam, a doubleheader. That's going to be on Saturday. That's going to be tomorrow here on IndianaSRN, but also you have girls soccer at 1 o'clock, South Bend St. Joe taking on Guerin Catholic. Then on Monday, you have some volleyball between Covenant Christian and Cardinal Ritter, that game at 7 o'clock, as well as some girls soccer. You'll have Center Grove and Guerin Catholic taking each other on Monday.
We talk about a Heartland Conference. They have their Players of the Week this week. Their Offensive Athlete of the Week was Josh Taylor from Mount Orab, Ohio, Mount St. Joseph, sophomore quarterback. He went 22 of 41 for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. Carried the ball 26 times for 110 yards. He's someone we're going to see that first week up in Bluffton. It's going to be fantastic. Super excited to have college football on the family of networks of IndianaSRN. Keith Myers, myself, Jarrett Lewis. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it.
So Covenant Christian goes quickly here as we'll take a look at the polls here after we get this kickoff, but still nonetheless Covenant Christian, their offense has done the job here. Now their defense, again, as you said, Sean Kroll, they have to step up.
Yeah, again, every time Heritage has touched it on offense, they put it in the end zone.
And a muffed kickoff there by Dora, but he takes it along the sideline. Flag on the play. He gets it back to almost the 50-yard line, but we'll check the penalty flag here in just a little bit. But, of course, Sean Kroll, let's take a look at those polls.
As we look, again, we talked about 3A, Brebeuf Jesuit number 1, West Lafayette 2nd, Gibson Southern 3rd, Danville 4th, Lawrenceburg 5th. In 4A, Roncalli again tied 0-0 last we checked with Brebeuf. Leo 2, Jasper 3, East Noble 4, and Mooresville number 5.
So certainly that you'll see here a few more of the polls as well here from IndianaSRN as we go throughout the broadcast. It's a holding penalty here on Heritage Christian, so that will negate everything there from that good kickoff return from Dora. As Sean Kroll, you have an interesting score update here for us.
Yes, in the second quarter, Brebeuf Jesuit 3, Roncalli 0. A defensive battle going on there. Westfield is leading Brownsburg 14-7 in the first half. Some great games tonight going on around the state. Center Grove is rolling over Lawrence Central 28-0. Hamilton Southeastern over Zionsville 13-7 in the first half.
So 3:10 left to go here in the second quarter. Antoine with two backs in the backfield. He delays the handoff there to Brown. A little too delayed as Covenant Christian is able to make a big tackle in the backfield for maybe a loss of a yard.
That's one of the things they need to do. Stop them early on the run, put them in passing situations so you can pin your ears back and try and get to Cal Antoine and make him make a mistake.
Second down and still calling it 10. Antoine dumps it off to Brown. Has some blocking up the sideline. Sheds some more tacklers. Nearly is able to turn on the afterburners, but gets across midfield down to the 45.
I love the play set up there where Antoine immediately looks to his left like he's going to throw a quick little out route and then comes back to the right. The Hogs were in front of him, but is there a flag on the play?
We may have a late flag here.
Let's see what's going on. Yep.
And so we have a flag sitting at about the 35. And it's going to be a holding call. Another penalty, and this one has really shot them in the foot here late in the first half.
It has. It's going to send them back, so they're going to end up having a lot of yards to go to get that first down. 2:26. Covenant still has all three timeouts. They're going to stop here. They got another shot.
Well, they have all three timeouts, but also we've seen big plays come in spurts here tonight.
Yeah.
It's certainly possible from Heritage Christian.
They've only had a 73-yard pass play that went to the 2-yard line and then, a 75-yard touchdown pass. So,
just nothing special.
Tony Flatt loves those stat patterns right there, doesn't he?
Antoine, again with Brown to his right. Antoine looking for the receiver and just a little long for Austin Yates. That's the first time that he's targeted the senior tonight.
Great job by Munoz. They're playing zone defense, as you saw the cornerback. The cornerback let him get behind him, but Munoz came over because of the zone coverage, but the pass was over his head.
And now here's an unfamiliar situation for Heritage Christian, though. They are deep in their own territory, and they are facing third and more than 5 yards.
Honestly, I was surprised they threw the ball there. With the way they've been running it tonight, gain some positive yards, put yourself in a better situation on third down. Interested in the call here.
Could be an interesting play call here. Looking to throw. Getting into the backfield, though, is Covenant. Long throw by Antoine. Tipped up and saving the catch right there is Brock Buckley, using all of his 6'3" frame to prevent a huge play from happening.
That was a huge play because the receiver, which I think was Dora, had gotten behind the offense. And, man, he needed every bit of that 6'4" frame to knock that down, and now it's fourth down.
And now we'll see what Heritage decides to do here. And they're going to bring Antoine back to punt the ball away here.
Are they going to quick kick it?
And they pooch kick it. End over end, it's going to be fielded by Tyndall. And Tyndall brings it back to midfield. That's huge. There you go, Sean Kroll. That was the stop that Covenant Christian needed, and it's still a 2-score deficit, but nevertheless, Covenant has an opportunity to make this a ball game.
And again, I can't reiterate enough, they still have all three timeouts, and even with the minute 48 left, they can still use the middle of the field to be able to work their way down. Even a field goal here is huge, but if they can stick it in the end zone right before halftime, huge momentum swing going into half.
Of course, what do you do here, though? You still have a little bit of time left. Do you run the ball, or do you trust your arm in Tony Flatt?
It's worked the last 2 drives.
Tyndall in motion. Jet sweep to Tyndall. Tries to turn the corner. Waits for his blockers. Flag on the play, though, as he gains about 5 yards, but we'll check the penalty flag here.
You see that, almost automatically it's holding.
Certainly 9.5 times out of 10, that is the call. As the officials converse, certainly an excellent job done by this IHSAA officiating crew so far this evening. and it is indeed a holding call on Covenant Christian. So that will back them up 10 yards from the previous spot. Penalties are the story of the last 3 minutes of this second quarter.
Yeah, each team's kind of put themselves in precarious positions because of penalties. And so I like the play call, but the penalty just nullifies that.
So the ball was at the 48-yard line. This now backs Covenant up to their own 38-yard line. Still, you have a minute and a half to go here with all 3 timeouts for the Warriors.
Look for Buckley. I just got that feeling.
Flat steps up into the pocket, looks over the middle, nearly intercepted by Sam Graves as he was looking for Gavin Tyndall over the middle, and a huge sigh of relief there for the Warriors.
I think Flat wasn't sure where to go because he had Buckley short and Tyndall long, kind of went in between them.
May have thrown this one a little too low, though, because he had Tyndall open. And he may have been looking for Buckley to come up with that one because he threw that right over Buckley, but he decided against it, thinking that he may have been going further. So a little bit of lack of execution there for Covenant Christians. Second down. Jet sweep this time to Neighbors. Has some blocking, tries to turn the corner. Spin move along the sideline, and he gains at least 10 yards back to the original line of scrimmage to make it now 3rd down and 10.
And there's your first timeout, I believe.
And it is indeed a timeout taken by Covenant Christian. We'll take a timeout here on IndianaSRN. A minute 13 left to go here in the first half. Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling. Certainly has gotten interesting here in the last 3 minutes or so as Covenant Christian has made quick work to try and at least make this a manageable game, and now they have an opportunity to make this a one-score game going into halftime.
And what's even more interesting is if they don't go for it on that 4th down play and give the short field to Heritage, they could be trying to tie it up right here.
So the ball's sitting almost at the original line of scrimmage. It is 3rd down and 13. Flat, quick off the throw, has Buckley. He almost sheds a tackler, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds just that side of midfield. And the Covenant Christian faithful not exactly happy with that whistle blowing it dead. But the official was right there on top of it, so it's going to be 4th down and 8 with 52 seconds, and they're going to keep the clock running here. They're going to stop the officials are trying to stop the clock. They may have to reset things here.
Yeah, if he was out of bounds, the clock kept running, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
If he was out of bounds, the clock should stop.
Yeah, they lost a bunch of time there.
Flat has to shed out here, looking down along the sideline. And it is out of bounds, incomplete. That should stop the clock right there, and the clock keeps ticking a couple seconds there. And so it's going to stop at 22 seconds. That was certainly an interesting turn of events right there, but nonetheless, that is where the clock is.
Another turnover on downs. You got to imagine, though, however, Heritage is probably just going to sit on it unless they maybe want to try and screen pass and see if they can bust something big.
With 22 seconds to work with, you still have all 3 of your timeouts here, although you'll probably not use 3 timeouts in 22 seconds. Either way, it'll be interesting to see what Heritage Christian decides to do here going into halftime.
I think that last play, the pass rush through the whole playoff, and then that kind of made it kind of a scramble for Covenant, like where can we find a receiver? So that's the importance. Even if you don't get a sack, that's the importance of the pass rush on the defensive line.
He's certainly been in a good pass rush tonight with Colin Jones along with Carter Taylor, Tim Jackson, and Jack Butler. And Heritage going to go and try and pass here. Antoine dumps it off to Schlamer, who stays inbounds, but he can't get back to the original line of scrimmage. And they're going to stop the clock here as Heritage Christian calls a quick timeout.
Yeah, you can see Kyle Ray over there, like, talking to Kyle Antoine, saying, this is what we wanted to do. All right, come on over here. Let's see what we can do. That play didn't get them much, but, you know, we've seen plenty of scores here in a couple of seconds. You know, I want to talk about the SRN polls. I think they're just as important as the, you know, coaches' polls and the AP polls. Maybe I'm a little biased, but, you know, 5-8, who else is number 1 but Cathedral? Valparaiso 2, Bloomington South 3, Decatur Central 4, Zionsville 5, and Zionsville's in a dogfight. Well, Hamilton Southeastern 6A tonight. Speaking of 6A, Center Grove is on their way to another win. Merrillville 2, Carmel 3, Westfield 4, Brownsburg 5. Westfield and Brownsburg are playing each other tonight.
Big Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup between those two squads here this evening. So out of the timeout, you still have about 13 seconds left to work with here as taking a look at the halftime score here, Roncalli leading Brebeuf 7-3. Also, Brownsburg and Westfield tied up at halftime. 14-all is the score in that contest. So second down here and long for Heritage. Antoine, time winding down, dumps it down to Colton Brown. Goes along the sidelines, picks up a first down before he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. So Heritage will have another opportunity for one more play here.
I think Antoine's definitely got the arm to get it in the end zone from the 40-yard line. So I think that was just a play to get a good chunk of yardage and get them to have at least a chance to stick it in the end zone. Let's see what kind of play they run here.
4 seconds left here for Kyle Antoine. Looking downfield, Hail Mary to the end zone, and it goes long, nowhere near it. And with that, it is halftime now, 28-14. And Sean Kroll, it has certainly been a dominating first half by Heritage Christian, but Covenant Christian has shown that they're able to at least keep pace and maybe put something together going into the second half.
It took a while for them to get rolling on offense. Covenant Christian, they finally got some big plays that got them back into this game. Only being down 14 is huge for them. At this point, they've got to figure things out defensively to get stops for Heritage Christian, because Heritage Christian, you know, they had to punt the last time, then you had downs here at the end. But Heritage Christian did what they wanted at will in that first half. They got to step it up defensively in the second half, this Covenant.
So Covenant Christian has some work to do going into the second half here with Heritage Christian on top, 28-14. Of course, John Neighbors doing John Neighbors things in that first half for Covenant Christian. He has 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and then 1 receiving. But Heritage Christian, believe it or not, has spread things out a little bit here. You have 2 touchdowns for Brown, but also 1 for Schlamer and a rushing touchdown for Antoine.
We look at the big plays for Covenant Christian. The 73-yard pass to Tyndall would set up the 2-yard touchdown for Neighbors. And then the next time they touch the ball, 1 play, 75 yards to Neighbors. They want sustained drives, I think is what they're looking for. But at this point, with the score the way it is, they'll take what they can get. Again, they've got to stop Heritage Christian and their 5-headed monster they've got on offense.
These two teams have played each other only 4 times ever over the last 4 years, believe it or not. They have split the series 2-2. The last time that these two teams played, as we mentioned earlier, Covenant Christian was the 36-21 victors. Certainly right now it's looking like we might have a mirror effect going the other direction based off of what we saw in that first half here between these two ball clubs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Covenant won the toss, so they get the ball coming out in the second half. They get a chance to make a statement coming out first and cut this to a 7-point ball game. All bets are off then. It really depends. That first drive for Covenant is going to be huge. They're really going to try and dial it up and get something big to put the pressure on Heritage.
It'll be certainly interesting to see what these two teams decide to do here as Covenant Christian looking for their 5th win of the season. They are 4-1 coming into tonight's contest. Heritage Christian trying to stay undefeated, looking for their 6th win of the year. We'll send it to halftime here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday night, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah!
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Game day on IndianaSRN. And now here's a special message from Assistant Commissioner of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, Sandra Walter.
In cooperation with the Indiana High School Athletic Association, IndianaSRN would like to thank the men and women who officiate our sports contests. Congratulations to the following officials who've been selected as Official of the Year in their respective sport. This distinction is based on service to student athletes, coaches, and community over decades. These men and women have given countless hours to promoting and ensuring that education-based athletics are afforded to your student athlete. In cross country, Mr. Ted Knopfsinger. Soccer for 21-22, Mr. Lawrence Lohner. In volleyball in the north, Mr. Steve Klein. And in football in Lake County, Mr. Fred Schob. If you'd like to become an IHSAA official, please contact Sandra Walter at the IHSAA office, phone number 317-846-6601. And a huge thank you to Mr. Keith Meyer and IndianaSRN for being such an advocate to our officials, our student athletes, and our administrators of 407 member schools across the state of Indiana. We certainly thank you for the support and the constant effort to promote all that is good about education-based athletics.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
My name is David Pfeiffer. I'm the athletic director here at Covenant Christian High School. I'm also the boys soccer coach. I've been coaching for the last 5 seasons now, and have stepped into this role of athletic director at the same time. My time here at Covenant has been amazing. I've really enjoyed the atmosphere, the environment that I've been able to be a part of as an administrator as well as a coach. Within our athletic department, we offer 18 varsity level sports, and we also have a boys club volleyball as well. You look around the state, there aren't many small schools that offer all of those athletic teams, and within each of those teams we have junior varsity teams and maybe even freshman and C teams. So for our student athletes, there are lots of opportunities, regardless of what your level of experience is, to be able to get some playing time and be a part of a team. Looking back over the last few years, when I think of the success that we've seen within our athletic programs, we've had 43 student athletes, alumni, that have carried on their athletic pursuits at the next level, playing anywhere from the NAIA all the way up to Division I NCAA. And so to have that kind of number at a smaller school like this is pretty great testament of the type of student athletes that we're producing from an athletic standpoint as well. You look back too at the success of our overall teams. Over the last 25 years that Covenant has been in existence, we've won nearly 50 sectional titles, at least 10 regional titles, 5 semi-state titles, and then more recently our football team winning the 2020 1A state championship. So it's neat to see our teams being able to compete at the highest of levels and attain those accolades from a team perspective and an individual experience as well. I think what's also unique about being in a smaller school is those options and opportunities to play in multiple sports. As a former high school and collegiate athlete, I had the opportunity to play multiple sports in high school, and the opportunity to build a relationship with different teammates on different teams as well as different coaches is really unique, and I think an awesome opportunity that our student athletes have here at Covenant. Speaking of our coaches, each of our coaching staff have a personal relationship with Jesus, and their heart and their intention is to certainly help you grow as an athlete for sure, but we're also challenging to grow academically in the classroom, but also in their personal relationship with the Lord as well. So I think that's another unique thing about athletics here at Covenant Christian is this opportunity to help us pursue Christ in the midst of our academic and our athletic pursuits at the same time. At Covenant, we certainly want to provide an education-based athletic experience. So we certainly take seriously that our students are first students, right? They're student athletes, not athlete students. So from beginning to end, we want to provide accountability and a charge for you to succeed in the classroom and to be excellent stewards of the time that you have there, so that you're setting yourself up well for academics down the road as well. But we also want to compete at the highest of levels, and we want to try to equip and enable each of our student athletes to become the best version of themselves in the classroom and on the athletic contest field. So I think one of the unique things again about what we're trying to accomplish is this whole person development, right? We're challenging you to grow in the classroom, we're challenging you to compete at the highest level, and we're challenging you again to grow in your personal relationship with Jesus Christ as well.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
We're back here at Zionsville West Middle School halftime score. Heritage Christian 28, Covenant Christian 14. I'm Sean Kroll, and it is time for the Morales Group scoreboard at halftime. Some scores from around the state. Roncalli leads Brebeuf Jesuit 7-3. These are all halftime scores, by the way. Westfield 14, Brownsburg 14. Lawrence North and Ben Davis tied at 7. Center Grove 28, Lawrence Central 0. Hamilton Southeastern and Zionsville tied at 14. Bishop Chittard 14, Garin Catholic 3. Decatur Central 21, Plainfield 0. Danville 21, Southmont 0. Southport and Bloomington South tied at 0 as well. Martinsville 21, Whiteland 14 at half. Fishers 21, Avon 10. LaPel 28, Traders Point 7. That game is also on the family of networks here at IndianaSRN. Monrovia 28, Beech Grove 13. Some other scores we are efforting as well. Speedway up over Edinburgh 47-0 at halftime. Triton Central leading Ritter 6-0 in the second quarter. Warren Central defeating Pike at halftime 14-0. Western Boone over Hammond Central 14-0 in the first quarter. Centerville 35, Northeastern 0. Eastern Hancock 17, Milan 10. Bloomington North 42, New Albany 19. Kurt, back to you.
Of course, thank you so much, Sean Kroll, for that scoreboard update here brought to you by the Morales Group. It is halftime here at Covenant Christian. We'll go ahead and take another timeout, and then the second half coming at you in just a little bit here on IndianaSRN.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Still have time.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Still have time here at Zionsville West Middle School alongside Sean Kroll. I am Kurt Darling. As you see, the teams starting to make their way back out onto the gridiron for the second half of this Circle City Conference matchup. So, Sean Kroll, we've had some time to look over the numbers and just kind of keep thinking about what we saw in the first half. Obviously, Covenant Christian has some work to do, but the thing that sticks out to me, Sean, is the fact that Covenant has the ability to stick with Heritage. They just have to put all the pieces together on both sides of the football.
I think one of the keys for Covenant Christian in the second half, Kurt, is offensively, they need to sustain drives. If they're going to rely on big plays, that's not going to work all the time. They've gotten 2 big plays. They need to get back to Neighbors and see if they can get him rolling. Defensively, they have to do it. They did it right there at the end of the half. They got Heritage to punt, and then they had the downs at the end of the half. They've got to stop Colton Brown, and I'm sure both these squads are very well coached, and they've made adjustments at halftime. But the keys for Covenant to get back in this are those. On Heritage side, just give the ball to 20. It's just not, you got a 14-point lead. If you can run the football effectively and get first downs, the clock is going to run, and that's your friend.
Coach Colton Brown probably has nearly 200 yards rushing so far here tonight. He has gone for 2 touchdowns, both of them on the ground. But, one thing that we observed as we were getting ready for the contest here tonight, Sean, is the fact that both of these teams, believe it or not, are averaging the exact same passing yardage, or through the air, obviously. They're averaging the same amount of passing yardage averaging per contest at 211, right down to the 10th, 0.2 yards.
It's pretty insane to think the numbers worked out that way. But when you look at passing attempts per game, Covenant only attempts 11 passes a game, and they run at 29, whereas Heritage, they pass it 17 times but run at 37. And one that shows you more possessions that Covenant less possessions Covenant has per game than Heritage does. But again, we've talked about this. They like to run to set up the pass.
But then one thing that we've also seen, though, is the fact that Covenant actually has a higher average score per contest. They are averaging 39 points per contest to Heritage Christian's 31. Granted, that's a little skewed a little bit, seeing as how Covenant Christian has had 2 50-burger games, both against Crispus Attucks and Indianapolis, Washington earlier this season. They beat Crispus Attucks 53-6, and then Washington 56-0. But still, nonetheless, the Covenant Christian offense, they're less consistent with lots of plays per offense, but they have, for lack of a better phrase, better boom factor, to put it in fantasy terms.
Yeah, I think they're a big play offense. Whereas Heritage Christian is the old adage, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but it's more like 5-6 yards in a cloud of dust for them. So they chew up a lot of clock, whereas Covenant makes those big plays in a 1A school with the athletes they've got. You want to use those athletes to your advantage, and we saw it with Brock Buckley there, and the defensive play he made in the first half that saved the touchdown, jumping up and knocking that ball out of the air. You want to get your ball to those athletes, and Covenant's done a great job of that.
Covenant's looking for their 50th win as a program. They have been a program since 2015 in affiliation with IHSAA. They played 1 game in 2014, but they have now gone the last 6 years as a team that is in affiliation with IHSAA football. But nevertheless, they are, as a program, 49-15 in their first 6 years, looking for win number 50 here tonight. That's certainly something special right there for a young football program.
And a state championship.
And a state championship on top of that.
That is something to definitely be proud of. They've done it right. They started way back in the day with Larry McWhorter, and did a great job there building the program from scratch, leading to what they had last year as the pinnacle of a state championship. And they think they're in this again this year. 1A, you never know. I mean, they're playing 2A, and that's the great thing that Covenant does is they play up in their schedule, which helps them come tournament time, which, by the way, if you want to sponsor a tournament, coach at IndianaSRN.org.
Of course, yes, we are always looking for helpful benefactors to try and help us out as we bring lots of high school football coverage here on IndianaSRN, season in and season out. Halftime is over. Alongside Sean Crow, I'm Kurt Darling. 2 quarters of football left to go here as Covenant Christian has the advantage of starting the second half with the football. As Jace will put his boot into it, and this time he shortens it up to ensure a return from Covenant Christian. Tyndall gets stopped up, though, right at the 20-yard line, and that is where they will get things going here for this Warriors offense going into the second half.
Very interested to see these first couple of play calls and what Covenant comes out of the locker room wanting to do. I think you got to get back to what you do best and see if you can do it better here at the beginning of the second half.
So they officially spot the ball right at the 20-yard line with the nose touching the line. Of course, playing on a grass field, most football teams going to turf nowadays. We get the classic gridiron grass here at Zionsville West Middle School. Flat over the middle, looking for Buckley, and he bobbles it out of play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Just a tad out of reach. Actually, it was Tyndall. He was going for just out of his reach. It was a great play, a nice little rollout. Nice and easy throw from Tony Flatt, but couldn't quite connect.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 here from the 20-yard line. And Tyndall has certainly been a favorite target tonight of Tony Flatt. And now Tyndall has yet to get in the end zone, but nevertheless, he has set up a touchdown earlier from John Neighbors.
I think he finally caught his breath from that play.
No kidding. It's going to be a quick flag here. It's going to be a false start on Covenant Christian, so that'll back them up 5 yards. And as we talked about at the end of the first half, Sean, penalties have certainly played a factor on both sides of the football here this afternoon.
They have, and again, coaches can put up with physical mistakes. Those are going to happen. They're teenagers. It's the mental mistakes, and yes, those are going to happen as teenagers as well. But you want to try and minimize them as much as possible because it's hard to win football games if you make too many of them.
Ball at the 15. And another flag on the play. And we may have another false start here.
I think that was on the center and hiking the football back to
Flat. And it is. So back-to-back false starts. So accumulating in 10 yards of penalty yardage right there, backing him up 10 yards total here for the first 2 plays. It's still 2nd down and 20 now for Covenant Christian.
And that gets you away from the game plan and getting the ball to Neighbors. Now you've got to get a big chunk of yardage in 2 plays, 2nd, 3rd down, so you're probably going to throw it.
And going to do a whole new play call here is Evan Cottle. They hand the ball off to Neighbors, trying to wait for his hole, and cannot shed the tackle there from Colin Thompson, who's the experienced junior linebacker there. 32 tackles coming into this contest to lead in tackling for the Heritage Christian defense.
4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He's a beast, but now, you tried to run it there, got a good chunk, 5 yards, but you still got 15 to go, and that really shrinks the playbook.
Last time Covenant was in this position, they were bailed out by a pass interference penalty by Heritage Christian. Blitz coming from Thompson. Flatt has running room. 1st down, brought down by the neck. No flag on the call there, and either way, it's going to be a heck of a run there by Tony Flatt to save the drive as the officials converse there for a little bit, but no flag on the call there. But that was certainly a violent tackle to stop that run there by Tony Flatt.
I love the call, though. Traditional kind of option play. He has Neighbors out to the right, and the DB goes with him. And Flatt just says, excuse me, I'm going to take you with me. Oh, my goodness. That was definitely ring around the neck right there.
But still, about that play call right there, that was the perfect play call for what was brought by the defense. You saw Thompson coming on that blitz, and it ended up working out.
And again, a smart play by Flatt. Once he saw the DB commit to Neighbors, he kept the football.
Flatt hands it off now to Neighbors. He waits for his blocking to develop, and he plunges forward for a solid gain of about 4 yards.
And that's the advantage for those of you, when we talk about the run-pass option, the quarterback puts the ball in the belly of the running back. They're reading the defense to decide, okay, am I going to let him keep it based on what the defense has done on their first move, or am I going to keep the football and come back and throw it? They're reading so the quarterback is really he really is the chess player on the team as you run those types of plays.
Flatt back to pass. Steps up, looking along the sideline. It got out of his hand. It may have got a hand on it. Did one of the defenders as he was unloading the ball, and he is lucky that fell incomplete because Schlamer was right underneath it as it was coming down.
Yeah, he's definitely lucky because Schlamer's a good receiver and good hands. And yeah, he did. That popped straight up in the air.
Almost looked like a defender may have gotten a hand on the arm of Flatt as he was unloading the ball.
Surprised Schlamer didn't look like he was trying to shag fly balls in the outfield.
Flatt, delayed handoff. No, he keeps it himself. Looks over the middle, has his receiver, and again, it looks like it is Gavin Tyndall, and it is a big 1st down for Covenant Christian.
They've had success rolling him out, and especially to his right side after the fake handoff to Neighbors. Even with the pressure on this play, he still gets plenty of time to make a good, solid pass to Tyndall.
Had the defense fooled right there, and that gave Flatt just enough time to find Tyndall.
His receivers are finding the open space in the middle of the field.
Timeout on the field. Back in a minute.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
This second half brought to you by the Morales Group. We can match you right with the career for hire or hire the right candidate for your company. We do so much for that. Let us help you today. Contact Morales Group at 317-472-7600. Once again, alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling, and Covenant Christian with an opportunity here to get a big score on their opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, it definitely need it. They've done a good job matriculating the ball down the field, as Hank Stram would say on the famous NFL films.
Replogle in motion. And there's the false start from the wide receiver. Looks like that's Tyndall, who may have jumped the gun there. May have been some confusion on the snap count.
Yeah.
Because you saw him go one step early before the ball was snapped. So that'll back him up 5 yards.
I think that might have been Lyons, actually, the jump. And he was ready to go and run his route. And again, you said it, the penalties, man. The penalties for both these squads have really hurt them. They've kind of killed momentum. It hadn't been a whole lot of flow, especially for Covenant offensively.
Of course, we haven't seen a lot from Will Lyons tonight. Mm-hmm. He has 4 receptions for 2 touchdowns tonight, or this season. Flatt with a lot of time in the pocket, looking long downfield. Big catch by Brock Buckley! Touchdown, Warriors! Oh, and you mentioned it earlier, Sean Kroll. 50-50 balls. That time, it fell in the favor of Brock Buckley.
That's what you want to do. Young man, you got the size advantage. Go up and get it, and he loves that, and he's going to win it nearly every time.
A huge catch, about 45 yards to the end zone. Brock Buckley with his second consecutive game with a touchdown catch.
Don't go anywhere, folks.
We have ourselves a football game here in Zionsville, as Luke Munoz will try to make it a one-score ball game here with the PAT. Snap is down. He is through the uprights. He is still perfect in that regard on the season. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Covenant Christian has scored 14 unanswered points between the first half and the second half. It is now a one-score ball game, 28-21. Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling, and It is certainly a ball game that we have here tonight here in Zionsville as Covenant Christian continues to capitalize on the big plays.
7-play drive, 80 yards, just a go route really to Brock Buckley. It's like, I'm going to throw it up there. You got to go up and get it, and he did.
As Munoz puts his boot into it, and that will be fielded here by Dora, and he goes along the sideline and is shoved out of play at about the 35 as we take a look here once again at this long pass play to Brock Buckley.
Great job in protection. Give him some time. He steps up in the pocket, almost on him with Orsted, but it's just go up and get it. He just jumps right over the top of the defender on that play, who happened to be Camden Wolf. 6 points.
And so that was 40 yards on that pass catch for a touchdown by Brock Buckley. And again, his second consecutive game with a touchdown pass after he had none in the first games prior to that. And now, Covenant Christian's defense can certainly expect a heavy dose of Colton Brown going into the second half after they had to spend nearly 4 minutes of this third quarter on the sidelines watching what was unfolding.
Yeah, Heritage's offense is like, okay, it's our turn to make a statement. You're within one score. Now we're going to eat up a ton of clock. We're going to run the football right down your throat like we did the first half, and we're going to score. And Covenant's got to say, no, you're not. We're going to stop you, and we're going to tie this football game up.
Antoine again hands it off to Brown, but he gets stuffed in the backfield. The big man, Ethan Sparks, with the initial grab right there.
And there's a play where Colton Brown lost yardage.
One of, I think, only two now that he's had all game long.
I don't think that one was much of his fault because the big man Carlson, where Sparks was in there, he had nowhere to go. It was like running into a brick wall.
Heritage has only forced one punt so far tonight. Fake to Brown, and now Antoine dumps it off, but Neighbors is right there on the coverage, and the Covenant defense may have heard you, Mr. Krull, because they have stepped it up here on these last couple plays.
Great job there by Neighbors on the reverse of once they didn't hand the ball off to Colton, kind of spying on him, seeing him go out to the side, towards the sideline, and waiting for the screen pass. He was right there. Now it's 3rd and long.
This is a big third down in terms of where we are in the contest. Antoine looks over the right side. Oh, and a big grab by Zach Schlamer, and that was a drive-saving catch for a huge first down and some change.
What a throw by Kyle Antoine. This is an absolute seed in the perfect spot to Zach Schlamer.
And how about Zach Schlamer just going up for that ball with a big athletic grab. About 25 yards on that pitch and catch from the junior duo.
Yeah, and he got hit by Brock Buckley after that too, so he's taking a break.
Brown running away from Ethan Sparks, and there's Neighbors once again on the tackle. But a solid gain yet again from Brown. But we have a flag on the play.
I'm still thinking about that pass by Antoine. My, oh my. Up to the sideline where only his guy could catch it. Just a beautiful throw.
Talk about precision passing in every sense of the word.
That'll be on the highlight tape for sure.
Oh, yes, it will. Of course, you can catch many other highlights of many games that we have going on tonight on IndianaSRN Twitter, as there was a holding call. And so a couple penalties here, both of them against Heritage Christian, so they are going to walk them back. And it's a holding call that's declined by Covenant, but another holding call that will be accepted, and it will be 10 yards from the previous spot. So that previous run by Colton Brown is negated yet again, and penalties continue to bite both teams in. We're definitely where it doesn't shine right now, as they want things to try and keep going smoothly, but this thing is still pretty much a ball game here, and penalties have had a lot to do with it.
And it's first and about 17. You know, you get one good stop here defensively. If you're Covenant, you can really put Heritage in a bad spot.
And Brown is able to get back to the original line of scrimmage off of that dump off from Antoine.
You'll take that if you're Heritage, because now it's essentially 2nd and 10, which you're okay with because you still got a couple of plays to get 10 yards. And what they've been doing tonight, that hasn't been an issue for them.
And so now call it 2nd down and 10.
Good to see Schlemer back in after that stick he took from Brock Buckley.
Quick handoff to Brown. He outruns some defenders, gets to first down yardage, and falls forward down to the 25.
I mean, great penetration there by Keelan Hampton. Just can't snag him and keep him to a small gain. You'll see he bursts right through here. Just can't quite get to him. And then it's a 10-yard run for a first down.
And it just goes to show you how elusive Colton Brown is, even with straight line speed, getting it away from you.
Somebody's going to get themselves a very good football player in D3.
Antoine again hands it off to Brown, and he goes nowhere with it, maybe a gain of a yard as he gets inside the 25-yard line.
Maybe our cohorts from the Heartland Conference are watching this game, and they're licking their chops maybe to get a Colton Brown, and he can be on the game of the week next year.
Of course, coming into this ball game, Colton Brown 11th in the state in rushing yards this season.
And hasn't been completely healthy.
And has not been completely healthy. He rushed for 1,800 yards last year in 2020.
That's good.
Antoine, quick pass, finds his receiver. First catch of the night by Isaac Jones, and he gets close to first down yardage.
Sets up 3rd and short, gives them a lot of options. They're deep into Covenant territory right here, so they can do a lot of different things.
Of course, Jones only with his 6th catch of the season right there. Kind of more of a utility pass catcher whenever they need him in certain situations this year. Still, here we go. It is a 3rd down now for Covenant Christian. Delayed handoff, Antoine up the gut, gets the first down, and it's now going to be 1st and goal to go for Heritage Christian. And that can certainly be demoralizing right there. You've had 2 3rd down opportunities where you can get a stop, and Heritage Christian has been able to easily pick up the first down and then some.
And I think that's the ace up the sleeve they've got this year that they didn't have last year, is they can attempt as if they're going to give it to Brown, but Antoine keeps it and gets the first down easy. That little wrinkle is a huge difference maker for this Heritage Christian offense.
Now 4 minutes left to go here in the 3rd quarter. No turnovers by either squad this evening. Antoine again finds his receiver, this time A.J. Neal, but he's tackled by the shoestrings right at the 10-yard line. So no gain on the play.
Literally the shoestrings. Great tackle there by Carter Bell. Just got his foot in there and tripped him up.
So a quick gain of about 4 yards right there. It'll be 2nd down and 6, so not quite goal to go here, as they can still get the first down without scoring. It is 2nd down and goal, excuse me.
Some quick scores. Mooresville 45, Franklin 14, end of 3rd. Mount Vernon 43, Pendleton nothing, end of 3rd. LaPel 31, Traders Point 15, 3 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Antoine rolling to his right, has Schlemer. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Heritage Christian. Schlemer's 2nd of the night.
That was just too easy. He was wide open. And a lot of people would be like, well, he threw it low. You do that on purpose because you want your receiver to be the only person that can catch that when you're down there in the end zone, so you're not turning it over.
10-yard pass catch there by Schlemer from Kyle Antoine. Antoine's 2nd touchdown pass of the evening, and now his 13th on the season. As Mateo Jesu, and the extra point is blocked by Covenant Christian. That may have implications later on. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
(34-21). Heritage Christian is finally broke their scoring drought after Covenant Christian had scored 14 unanswered points. They get it back, and now Covenant Christian will get the ball back to keep going through this third quarter. Alongside Sean Kroll, I am Kurt Darling, and Covenant Christian just trying to keep pace right now with the Eagles as the ball will roll into the end zone for a touchback. Probably the more fortunate happening right there, as Heritage Christian was coming with a vengeance right there for Gavin Tyndall.
Luckily he didn't touch it. Some updated scores here as we see the touchdown pass. Just a nice little out route there by Schlamer. Threw it low. He's the only one that can get it. Ron Colley, another Circle City Conference action. Ron Colley 14, Burbuff 3 in the third quarter. Boy, that is a doozy of a football game, as we have right here. And you mentioned the blocked extra point. Will that come into play?
It always seems to at some point whenever that happens. So instead of a 14-point advantage, it's only a 13-point advantage for Heritage Christian. Just keep that in the back of your mind as we keep going through this contest. Flat. Back to pass, steps up in the pocket, looking downfield, has to dump it off, and Replogle with a dynamic catch right there, 20 yards and a first down.
I am really impressed with Tony Flatt and his ability when the protection breaks down to find spaces and find open receivers. His intuition just avoiding the rush and then finding Replogle.
And Replogle coming back to his quarterback right there to come back and get that one and get a huge first down. Of course, Trey Replogle had to sit out last game. He's had 2 catches tonight, and they have certainly been impactful ones. Oh, Tony Flatt hit low there by Schlamer on that run option. And it looks like he is going to get up and be okay, but certainly not a comfortable hit right there from Schlamer.
Not at all. I'm not sure he saw him because he didn't even attempt to fake pitch or pitch out to neighbors. Schlamer just came in like a rocket ship and nailed him.
Of course, in the event, if Flatt needs to come out, Gavin Tyndall is the backup quarterback, but he has certainly been your favorite receiver tonight if you're Tony Flatt. Flatt has to step up, and he is swarmed in the backfield. Ethan Orsted gets the sack, his 4th of the season.
I felt like Flatt had room to just take off up the middle there and try and gain some yards, but still wanted to complete the pass, ended up eating the ball and taking the sack.
And we mentioned earlier about how Tony Flatt, the younger brother of Trey Flatt, who was the quarterback of this ball club just a year ago, and you have, bottom line is this, you have Tony Flatt, who is a football player first, basketball player second, according to Coach Cottle. But Trey Flatt, on the other hand, he was basketball player first, football player second.
He was, and he loved to shoot the 3 ball, that's for sure. And a beast as a defensive end.
Tony Flatt slipping in the backfield, but somehow finds Gavin Tyndall again for a play that looked broken, but nonetheless comes away with 5 yards.
Okay, here's your decision if you're Coach Cottle. You're not as deep in your own zone as you were last time you went for it on 4th down, but you're at like the 45-yard line. 4th and 5, do you go for it here? But wondering if there's penalty on the play or they're just waiting for the end of the quarter.
And no, it looks like there is a penalty on the play. You have flags back at the 30-yard line, and so it looks like it's going to be against Covenant here as they're asking They're asking Coach Kyle Ray if he wants to accept it, and it looks like it may be interesting here, because if they accept the penalty, it will remain third down, I believe. And so it's a holding call, and this will back them up, and it still gives them the down back. So that's an interesting play call right there. You have either fourth down and possibly a punt, or you're going to give them the yardage, but now you're giving them essentially 2 more downs here.
Yeah, but it's a long way to go. It's third and probably 25 maybe. I don't know.
Third down and 15. Flat dumps it off to Neighbors, has to bobble it, tries to find some running room along the sideline, stays in bounds as long as he can, but he does not get to first down yardage. And so gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So that was a very long third down right there. It's still going to be fourth down, and maybe about fourth down to about 15 yards.
Yeah, it looks like
here.
it's fourth down and 15 now.
So the ball is sitting at the 35-yard line, and this time it is going to be a punt from Covenant Christian. Certainly the smart play here from Coach Cottle.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Now another flag, though.
On a play clock? Oh, no, substitution. Is that 12 men on the field?
It looked like it was, 12 men on the field for Covenant Christian on a punt, believe it or not. So that'll back them up another 5 yards. And as we keep talking about, Sean, penalties have been the thing that have shot both teams in the foot at most points, but certainly Covenant Christian more so than Heritage.
Yeah, Harrison Laurie into punt.
Nearly blocked by Heritage. It's going to be a short punt, but it goes across midfield, and they will down it at the 44-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, you're 6 games into the year, and again, it makes you tear your hair out if you're a coach, because you've had enough practices and had enough games that this stuff is supposed to be buttoned up, but it's still happening at an alarming rate. So the film sessions aren't going to be very fun in these next couple days.
Of course, Heritage Christian, they get set to go on a long road trip down south next week. They get to take on the Generals of Clarksville, which will be a radio game here on IndianaSRN. So you can catch that game on the IndianaSRN radio side here in a week's time. Neal off of the dump off from Antoine, and the big man gets first down yardage and then some as he plows through Brock Buckley.
And you can see right there as well, Will Lyons trying to strip the football to try and get a turnover. That's what you're essentially trying to do now on the Covenant side defensively. One guy tackle him, one guy try and punch the ball out, see if you can get any kind of turnover.
And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter coming at you next here on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
One more quarter to go here at Zionsville West Middle School, the home field of Covenant Christian High School, as Heritage Christian has a big lead on the Warriors, 34-21. Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling, and Sean, we've seen some pretty crazy things happen in this game so far tonight. The big play factor, certainly something to deal with if you're the Heritage Christian defense from Covenant Christian, but does Covenant have enough opportunities to get enough big plays to cut into this lead of Heritage?
Well, right now what Covenant needs is a big play on defense. They've gotten their big plays on offense. They need a big play from someone to step up, fumble, sack, interception, anything to give you the ball back and allow you to get it within that one-score range again and not let Covenant stick it. I mean, Heritage stick it in the end zone, because if they do, it could be lights out.
So the ball at the 40-yard line. Pitches to Brown. Cuts upfield. Couple of tacklers to beat. Gets inside the 20, down inside the 15-yard line before he is tackled once again by John Neighbors. Neighbors and Colton Brown have certainly gotten very familiar with each other, both here on with Neighbors playing defense, and he's pretty much been the only guy that can actually get anything on Colton Brown if he gets downfield. But we have a flag on this play here.
Yeah, I think they're going to get the outside receiver there with the hold. He kind of tugged at the jersey, pulled him around, and let Brown get through.
So a big play-saving penalty once again for Covenant Christian here. Heritage Christian will back up 10 yards.
As if these coaches weren't close enough, both of them can commiserate about all the penalties each team had in this game and be like, what is going on?
Well, there has to be at least close to 15 penalties committed by both teams combined here tonight.
Oh, easily.
Of course, remember, you can catch these teams playing in sectional action here on Indiana SRN. That coming up in just 4 weeks' time, believe it or not, as Colton Brown takes the handoff and will go along the sideline and is tackled there by Nolan Jones.
Well, that's a nice response after a penalty. Get it all back and a first down on a run by Colton Brown. I'd have to believe he's over 5,000 yards.
At this point, I would have to say so.
I mean, he only needed 158, and
he's well over 158 now here tonight.
He's carried a full load.
So 5,000 career rushing yards now for Colton Brown. Certainly a big achievement. And Antoine hands the ball off to Brown, and he is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage there. Of course, we mentioned sectionals. Heritage Christian has already played a few sectional opponents that they might be facing. Shenandoah, along with Cecina, Eastern Hancock, and they also have played Centerville earlier this year. And so they definitely good opponents there for Heritage Christian. You'll be seeing them facing you off here on Indiana SRN later on this year. Covenant Christian facing opponents like Park Tudor and Indianapolis Tindley on their regular season schedule. They'll possibly be facing them in sectional 46 action. Keeper is for Antoine. Hand on his blocker, flag on the play, and he's brought down inside of the 15.
Lutheran beating Cecina 24-7 in the fourth quarter.
And that is a big intersectional matchup, to say the least. You have Cecina from sectional 38, which is Heritage Christian's sectional, and Lutheran from sectional 46, which is Covenant Christian's sectional. It's a holding call on Heritage Christian. That will back them up another 10 yards.
Hey, I think we got a viewer in Pennsylvania.
Very nice. Of course, Indiana SRN, glad to bring you coverage from wherever you may be watching throughout the United States and in the state of Indiana as well. Of course, lots of other action that you can catch here on Indiana SRN. Be sure to follow us on YouTube at Indiana SRN, as well as on Twitter at Indiana SRN. So after they get the penalty yardage all figured out, backing them up, now past the 30-yard line. Call it the 33. Dump off is to Brown. He starts up the middle. Nearly sheds a tackle there from John Neighbors, and we have another flag. And actually, no, I don't think we have a flag on the play here, so it's going to be keeping going now. As taking a look at some of the stats here for Heritage Christian, 196 rushing yards tonight for Colton Brown. He has had 20 carries tonight, so that puts him well over the 5,000-yard career rushing yard mark.
Tony Flatt, 12 of 18 for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And now we have whistles on the play, and a timeout is called on the field by Heritage Christian. We will take a timeout with them. Back in a minute on Indiana SRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Now he's got 2:07.
9 minutes and 29 seconds left to go here in this contest. Heritage Christian marching down the field and threatening to go up by even more. And even though Heritage Christian is up by a significant margin, Covenant Christian has certainly tried their best to make this interesting. Looking downfield and incomplete from Antoine, and looking for his receiver Keegan Broderick, who has not been targeted at all tonight. Certainly a prolific receiver in his own right, as he is just a little bit beaten out there in double coverage and nearly intercepted by Covenant Christian.
You got to hang on to that. That's a huge play for Covenant Christian. That turns the ball over, keeps them out of the end zone, and gives you time to try and score some more. Because, of course, you know, Tony Flatt already has 300 yards passing tonight. 140 bit on those two big plays.
Once again, Carter Bell on the coverage there. He had 2 interceptions just 1 week ago. Antoine slips, goes forward, looking to the end zone, and over his receiver once again, looking for Broderick, and it falls incomplete. And that is a big series for Covenant Christian here. And now, I believe that is a turnover on downs. And Covenant Christian with a big stand in their own side of the football field. And Covenant has 9 minutes and 15 seconds left to go to try and make this one interesting.
Yeah, they're going to have to really get big chunks of yardage here. They've been able to do it after their first few drives. Let's see what they dial up here on offense and get down the end zone. That was a nice pass by Antoine in the corner. It was just in the double coverage.
Tony Flatt, 12 of 18, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns this evening. Blitz coming. Fake the handoff. And Flatt is able to get it away. And somehow there is a catch by Trey Replogle. Oh, they're going to say he was out of bounds. Replogle trying to plead his case right there, but either way, what an effort by Replogle to at least make the catch on that broken play. They'll bring it back to the original line of scrimmage.
That looked a lot like the Raiders-Dolphins last year when Fitzpatrick got his face mask pulled and still completed the catch.
And that was awfully close right there. But the officials certainly have a better eye on that than we do. So it is 2nd down and 10 here for Covenant.
Yeah, you got to think Heritage is going to dial it up with the blitzes and try and make Tony Flatt uncomfortable.
Fake the handoff to Neighbors. Flatt sheds the tackler, but then is sacked in the backfield. And on the sack effort was Nick Stewart. His first sack of the season, believe it or not.
Yeah, you got to give him I mean, he's been great tonight, giving himself more time and getting receivers open. But, man, at this juncture of the game, you've got to give him more time.
Getting some first-team reps next to Jack Butler. As you see Nick Stewart playing in here for Tim Jackson at the moment at the defensive tackle position. 3rd down and 13. Flatt gets rid of it to the right side and way overthrows his receiver there, looking for Will Lyons. And another 4th down here and a costly 3 and out right here for Covenant Christian with 8:04 to go.
Yeah, that sack really demoralized that entire series. quarterback pressure, when you know you got to score, you know, they can Heritage can dial up some blitzes and really make him uncomfortable, and they did, and now they got a punt.
So back to punt the ball away here will be Munoz. Munoz gets it away. And a decent punt from Munoz, forcing Schlamer to back up. But Schlamer is able to get a lot of that yardage back and gets across midfield.
Pretty good return on that punt. Coverage was down there. Schlamer made the first couple of guys miss and really did some good things there. Now, you know, Heritage Christian, the clock is your friend. So I got a feeling I'm going to see, as if we haven't already, more of Colton Brown.
Of course, Colton Brown's backup at running back is A.J. Neal. He's been playing more wide receiver tonight, both for Isaac Jones and even Christian Dora as well.
Yeah, they've used Neal a lot as an H-back, set up the blocking.
But as you said, more doses of Colton Brown, as I believe that puts him over the 200-yard mark here tonight. He has 207 yards rushing now on 21 carries.
I'm going to assume that is pretty good.
I mean, I'd say it's pretty admirable.
That's almost 10 yards a carry,
which is a big average.
That's impressive.
Heritage Christian averaging 207 yards rushing this season. They are right at their average as Colton Brown once again takes it upfield. Covenant still has all three of their timeouts as once again we take a look at the stat line for Colton Brown coming into the contest. He's over that 5,000-yard career rushing yards now as he has put up immense numbers tonight, and he's on pace for probably getting 30 touches here this evening.
Great game for Zach Schlamer, too. 6 receptions, 105 yards, a touchdown. He's been a big part of this Heritage Christian offense that's really just kind of rolled tonight. If they hadn't shot themselves in the foot, they'd have at least 45, 50 points.
Again, the handoff is to Brown, and he falls forward on first down for another gain of 5. And the clock continues to roll inside of 7 minutes.
That second quarter really was the turning point of this game where Heritage Christian scored 21 points. Covenant did have the 2 big plays, but when Heritage scores the first 4 times they have the football, that is tough to overcome.
And talking to Coach Ray earlier this week, he said this was Heritage's best week of practice that they've had all season long. And so, in spite of the penalties, it's certainly paid off to this juncture. Brown stops up and then is swarmed by a sea of black jerseys as he gets another couple of yards.
Yeah, just going back to your comment about them having the best week of practice, they've really been a machine except for those speed bumps of the penalties. And, boy, if they can clear those up, they are going to be a tough out in Class 2A.
Well, and if they do clean those up, and keep in mind, too, Indiana Preps Sports Network came out with their most surprising starts for teams in high school football out of all the classes. Covenant Christian was number 4 on that list. As you see, once again, Brown take it up the gut. But I asked Coach Ray about that. Of course, he said he's not at all surprised at how well they started, given as that, they go through Traders Point, Shenandoah, a close win against Guerin Catholic. They shut out Eastern Hancock, and then a tough, hard-knock win against Cecina Memorial. They hope to add another one here if this stat line holds up, and could be looking to go 6-0 for the first time in a long time to start a season.
Yeah, and you look at some of these numbers, too. Against Traders Point, 39 carries. Shenandoah, 28. Guerin Catholic, 39. Eastern Hancock, 42. Cecina, 39. They love to run the football. And I'll go back to the point where Antoine being another option is huge for them.
Pass into the end zone looking for Dora, and it bounces off of his face mask, goes incomplete. Still a good throw there from Kyle Antoine to find his open receiver.
Oh my goodness, he's going to be just sick to himself when he sees the film of that bouncing off of his hands. Should have been a touchdown.
Of course, Christian Dora has caught for a touchdown earlier this season. He has 6 catches for 160 yards. Meanwhile, the officials are conversing at about the 20-yard line. The clock continues to roll here. And the officials don't seem to notice it here. They finally stopped the clock. So you saw a good 15 seconds ticking off the clock right there.
And it happened in the first half as well. I think they're discussing maybe they're discussing a penalty.
I don't see any flags on the field here and no, there is a flag here. It's going to be a unsportsmanlike conduct on Heritage Christian. Certainly an odd penalty to be happening at this juncture in the contest.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe sideline penalty, but you usually get a warning first before you get the penalty. That's extremely interesting.
So either way, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct, and so that'll back them up. So it's still second down here for Heritage.
Taunting, maybe? This is the NFL now. And
so
waiting.
So it'll be 4.5 minutes here as the officials are talking through their radio communications here amongst themselves to make sure they have everything all good to go.
Yeah, they needed to check that clock. I'm surprised Heritage hasn't said anything about that yet. They had to have noticed it.
Well, yeah, it's
That's
probably
true,
Covenant. It's
yeah.
probably Covenant saying something about it right here. And they're going to leave the clock as is.
You don't want your own clock operator hurting you on the field.
Antoine has to back up and just dives it away there. And it's not intentional grounding, though, because it looked like Colton Brown was in the area. Even though Covenant Christian is hoping for a flag right there, they're not going to get it. And the Covenant Christian faithful certainly not happy with that no call, but I mean, Colton Brown was pretty close to where that pass came down.
And that's a smart play. If it's not going to work out, just throw it near the feet of your receiver and fight another day, another play.
Of course, this other play is going to be coming at 3rd and 25. And the whistle is blown before they get the play off. And a flag, I think, on the play here. And no, it looks like it's going to be a timeout called by Covenant Christian. We'll take a timeout with them on IndianaSRN. Four and a half minutes left to play here in this fourth quarter from Zionsville West Middle School. Here on IndianaSRN, a home game for Covenant Christian alongside Sean Kroll. I'm Kurt Darling. Well, Heritage Christian looking good to move to 6-0 here if they can keep this result the way that it stands at the moment. Of course, we have seen crazier things, but still 4.5 minutes. Heritage Christian content to keep running the ball and run out this clock.
Well, when you've got Colton Brown, who has got 228 yards, I think you just keep handing him the football.
3rd down, and Colton Brown is going to have some yards shaved off of that total as he gets brought down in the backfield. Heritage Christian now 5 of 8 on 3rd down tonight.
Great job there by the defense, but man, you don't have much time left, and you've already used one of your timeouts. You got to get quick hits.
So Covenant now with 2 timeouts remaining, and the clock will continue to roll, and Heritage is going to take their sweet time lining up for a punt, I believe, here. And so it will be a punt as they'll have Kyle Antoine once again back up for a pooch punt. And he gets a good leg into it and well played close to the sideline as it will take a Heritage Christian roll down to the 13. So
that's nice.
Covenant Christian, they have 3.5 minutes left to play here. The last time they had 3.5 minutes left to play in a half, it was 2 plays for a big score from Gavin Tyndall, which set up a 1-yard run by John Neighbors.
Yeah, that's right. There were 3:35 left to go in the first half, and they had that quick score, and boy, they need that desperately right here.
The big play factor has certainly been in favor of Covenant tonight. It just has not been as frequent as they certainly would have liked it. So Tony Flatt, again, 301 yards passing tonight. He has not completed his last 2 passes. Bobbles the snap, hands it off to Neighbors. Has some blocking and a solid run by Neighbors up the gut for a first down.
I'm surprised by the run choice there. Maybe they were just trying to catch Heritage off guard.
And so they stop the clock briefly to move the chains.
First down, Warriors.
Of course, the Heritage Christian faithful a little eager to get the clock moving here, but the clock operator has to wait for the official to give the signal, and now they wind the clock.
I'd be curious what the record is for most passing yards in a game for Covenant.
Tony Flatt has to roll to his right. He's going to tuck it. He picks up a first down and goes out of bounds smartly to stop the clock at 3:08.
Again, great job by Tony Flatt. His protection has kind of really let him down tonight, but he's made some good plays rolling out either way and on the running side as well.
So they avoid a third down right there. And a quick update here on the penalties. 21 total penalties by both teams. 11 by Heritage Christian, 10 by Covenant.
That is not palatable for either coach.
Tyndall in motion. Flatt handles the awkward snap, steps up in the pocket, heaves it downfield looking for Buckley. Flag on the play, and we'll see which way this one goes. History tells us that it usually goes towards the defense.
And this is an instance where if that's the case, it's a bummer. It's not like the NFL where it's
spot of the foul. It would only be 15 yards from the previous spot.
That's a pretty good chuck downfield from Tony Flatt.
Looks like they might get Sam Graves here for getting a little handsy with Brock Buckley. Possibly here. We'll see. And they're going to walk up penalty yardage, so it looks like it is indeed pass interference on Heritage Christian. So that is going to be a good chunk of yardage into plus territory for Covenant. The ball is at the 45-yard line. Clock stopped at 3:01.
Got to get a quick score, onside kick. Anything can happen.
The 12th penalty now on Heritage tonight. Flatt with some time. Steps up. Throws it downfield. Nobody in front of him. Brock Buckley inside the 10.
Let the big boy go get it.
Brock Buckley has been clutch tonight when they've needed him. He has a touchdown catch tonight, and now another big catch to set up 1st and goal.
Another beautiful throw from Tony Flatt on the run.
And he stays behind the line of scrimmage, too, to make that throw. 1st and goal for the Warriors. Flatt gonna keep it himself. Gets close. Is he in? Yes, he is! Touchdown, Covenant Christian! They cut it to a 1-score ball game.
Wow.
Just when you think Heritage Christian might have enough to do it, Covenant Christian with the big play factor. That has been a huge proponent of their game tonight, along with an untimely penalty from Heritage Christian, sets up that score.
If I may use an old baseball adage from Yogi Berra, It ain't over till it's over.
It certainly is not over here at Zionsville West Middle School. Munoz puts his boot into it, and he misses a PAT. That negates the missed PAT from earlier. It is a one-touchdown ball game here on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Tony Flatt with a rushing touchdown from 10 yards out, and we have a one-score ball game here at Zionsville West Middle School. Alongside Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling. Tony Flatt has passed for 339 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he's also had 6 carries for 38 yards. 10 of those were on that previous run for that touchdown.
And now you don't really have a choice. You have a hard time stopping Heritage Christian. You've got to go for the onside kick here.
So both teams certainly preparing for that right now. So here it is. It keeps bouncing, and it is fielded by Austin Yates at the 38-yard line. Let's take a look at this pass to Brock Buckley yet again.
What a great throw. Like, and protection breaks down, just steps up in the pocket and slings it on the run and goes up and gets it.
And as we said, Buckley using all of his 6'3" frame, which set up this touchdown.
Receivers aren't open. Take it. He's got the option to Neighbors. Goes through and just bullies his way into the end zone.
So a huge drive from Covenant Christian makes this one interesting with time waning in this fourth quarter. But of course, if you're Heritage, you try to run as much clock as you can here, but Covenant, they have 2 timeouts to get rid of.
Yeah, they stopped them, barely any gain at all there, 2nd and 9. You got to use your timeouts in the right spot. There's some confusion going on too on defense. The clock running down and losing time is huge now for Covenant Christian. Almost a fumble there.
Inside 2 minutes, and they get their hands on Colton Brown to stop him. Now a late flag. They might get a face mask right there. The hands were high on that tackle.
Wow, that's a break.
And a big break, yeah, indeed, for Heritage Christian. So as you see here now, they're going to walk off some penalty yardage here, and it will be close. It will be a first down here for Heritage Christian.
They haven't taken any of their timeouts yet, but
as we continue to wait here, so that will be into plus territory on that penalty yardage here. The ball at the 45.
Now you have to use your timeouts if you're Covenant. You had 2 good stops there, but again, like you said, the penalties have just hamstrung both these teams all night long.
Both teams still waiting here. Heritage Christian taking their time. 90 seconds left in this ball game now. Brown barrels over the middle, and now Covenant Christian will call a timeout. We'll take one with them here on
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Precisely 85 seconds left in this ball game here at Zionsville West Middle School here on Indiana SRN. A quick score update for you out of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Westfield knocks off Brownsburg 24-21. That is a big upset for the Bulldogs.
That is huge.
Colton Brown goes to the right side, and he is gobbled up right there by Brock Buckley. Clock continues to run here.
They went to Hamilton Southeastern last week, beat them. Now they host Brownsburg. They're going to be up there, and the SRN poll, they're already fourth. They're going to jump up a little bit. Well, it depends. Carmel was winning handily. Center Grove won handily. Merrillville, depends on what Merrillville does, but Brownsburg will probably drop out.
So Covenant only has one timeout left here as we tick now down to 55 seconds. And Heritage Christian continuing to let the clock run.
Yes, Carmel defeated North Central 45-0.
And now a timeout is called on the field. We'll go ahead and keep it here on Indiana SRN. Let's take a look at just some of the stats here from tonight. Even though it was a valiant effort here by Covenant Christian down the stretch. Tony Flatt with a new career high, 13 passes completed out of 21, 339 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's played really, really well tonight. I mean, some of the throws that both these quarterbacks have made have been fantastic in terms of where they've placed the ball and getting it to their receivers in certain spots. They've really both impressed me tonight.
Of course, we welcome you into the Indiana SRN studios alongside Sean Kroll. I'm Kurt Darling, and we certainly have seen an excellent game here played tonight in spite of the penalties from either side. 22 now by both teams, or now 23 rather by both teams. That's the only thing you can really say against these two teams outside of the penalties. It's been a very well executed game.
It has. They both had big plays. They've both had consistency in terms of the passing game for Covenant, the running game for Heritage. It really has been. That's the best description really for this game, Kurt. Is outside of the penalties, this has been a fantastic football game. It has been regardless. You take those away, this is a really, really good football game.
Antoine coming under center for the first time tonight. And Brown is grabbed by the back of his jersey there by Neighbors. And it will be a first down, so they have to stop the clock and move things forward. No timeouts now for Covenant Christian.
That'll wrap it up.
As they will wind the clock, and that will probably do it here for these two squads as Heritage Christian will move to 6-0 on the season. And now we may have another timeout called here. And it looks like Covenant Christian may get another timeout here. They may have had 3 timeouts. So we do get a timeout once again here. No, actually, it's the end of the ball game here. I was not watching the clock right there.
They were just running off the end.
Running the clock off there. I was expecting one more play. Final score here from Zionsville West Middle School. Heritage Christian 34, Covenant Christian 27. Heritage Christian, as I said, they moved to 6-0 on the season for the first time in quite a long time.
Both these teams can look at this game, Kurt, and say we played a quality football team. Covenant can't hang their heads because they played a top 5 2A school down to the wire, and Heritage is like, these guys may be 1A, but they're really, really good, as you can see by their record coming into tonight. So
both these teams have nothing, to look back on it. And, you get those certain schools where you're like, oh, yeah, we kind of beat them. They really didn't have much going on. This was just quality players on both sides of the football that played a great game, sans some penalties. But it was just it was an enjoyable broadcast to watch it.
Indeed it was. Coach Kyle Ray gets his 41st career win at Heritage Christian, the 136th program win for Heritage Christian in their history. Meanwhile, Covenant Christian, they take their second loss of the season, and they will now get ready for Clarksville on the road. You can catch that game on IndianaSRN radio here next week. Meanwhile, Heritage Christian, they will be back at home on the northeast side of Indianapolis next week as they face LaPel at 7 o'clock on October 1st.
That's a pretty good matchup, and then you look at Tinley and in Crystal House Manual, they could run the table going into to sectional plays. You see, so many of these kids know each other, and they've played each other before, especially being in the Circle City Conference, so that's great to see. But both these squads are going to make noise in the sectional, especially once the draw comes out. Seeing where they land, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them.
Indeed it will be, as you see the teams gathering for the post-game prayer that is customary between schools such as these. Today's broadcast brought to you by Bertner Electric, which has been serving the Indianapolis area since 1986. We are family-owned and operated. We take pride in our customer service and put our customers first. Fully licensed and insured, we offer 24-hour emergency service, no job too small. Give us a call today at 317-773-7663. Sean Kroll, it has been a pleasure to work with you tonight, my friend.
Once again, it was wonderful to be here and call this great game with you, with great producers and cameramen for a great company. I'm blessed. I really am.
Indeed, I am as well. We all are here to be bringing you high school football here on IndianaSRN. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written permission of the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. For Ken Thomason on the camera, for Jerry Collins, our on-site engineer, for Sean Kroll, I'm Kurt Darling saying so long till next time. Final score once again, 34-27. Heritage Christian knocks off Covenant Christian. So long, everybody.